Thank you very much. I had this microphone turned off. But hello to the welcome to the Geek Fortress stream. My name is TJ. I don't have a co-host tonight, and we are watching 4 rounds of Legacy. On the right, Joe Klobowski on Affinity. On the left, Nathan with Burn. As always, if anyone has any questions, comments, or feedback, feel free to let me know in the chat. My apologies for having the mic turned off right at the start there. Alright, so for Nathan, what we have got is I see a couple lands, an Eidolon, looks like to be a Chain Lightning, maybe a Rift Bolt, but that could be just a regular Lightning Bolt. And we, looks like we're getting the Scry from Joe, who is keeping it on top with his 6. As for taking Affinity, seems pretty likely the deck is able to get really fast, and an Aethersworn Canonist would keep any sort of shenanigans off there. Though the Ancient Tomb coming out going to start dealing a little bit of damage to him, and an early Cranial Plating. Okay, so Nathan having suspended a Rift Bolt, about to go into his upkeep. Cast 3, Joe already down to 15 after his first turn because of that Ancient Tomb. Does have a Cranial Plating. If a Vault Scourge were to come into the battlefield, that is going to be a huge haymaker in this matchup. Nathan dropping an Eidolon of the Great Revel, continuing to just play some really excellent threats against this, and that's going to really inhibit anything that Joe can do. The biggest difference is going to be a Tezzeret might be an option, but other than that, Joe is definitely on his back foot at this point. Okay. Next champion coming in for Joe. Next turn, that is going to be able to wear that Cranial Plating. Only going to be able to swing in for 4 as it currently stands. But that Edge Champion is going to be really solid for protecting itself. And we have a double... Oh my goodness. A Chain Lightning, Lava Spike from Nathan, all in the main phase. So he is going to be taking 6. And Joe, at this point, unable to cast any spells. Any spells that cost more than or under 3 mana. Also cannot use that Ancient Tomb, so it looks like Nathan is actually going to take this game 1. Very impressive from Nathan there. So about as good as the hand gets. Okay, so Joe restricted down to 1 mana, cannot activate his Ancient Tomb, but looks like we might just see him suit up that Cranial Plating. But instead we were just getting a pass. So a Monastery Swift Spear from Nathan, looks like, as well as a Rift Bolt. Oh, I'm sorry, that is actually a Price of Progress, and that is the end of the game there. So, a very quick game 1 here in the first game of our Legacy tournament tonight. We are going to be having 4 rounds. Price of Progress finishing that one up after an Eidolon just kept Joe from getting anything developed with that Affinity deck. Really excellent start. But with Joe being on the play in this next game, very likely going to provide a bit of an advantage there. In the meantime, because my mic was off, just a quick hello to all of you who have joined. Thank you for joining me. My name is TJ. I accidentally had my mic off, and the green screen is not quite liking this blue shirt, but thank you for joining me. If you do have any comments, questions, feedback, please let me know in the chat. It is always nice having that chat nice and active. And also, while I'm certainly getting better at it, I am still learning some pieces of this Legacy landscape. So if I ever do have anything wrong, please feel free to inform me otherwise, because that is a really solid way for me to learn. Otherwise, I'm excited. I'm going to be talking a lot because I don't have anybody to fill any of that dead space. And if you have anything that you would like me to talk about or provide any sort of insight about, then please let me know and it'll give me something more to discuss. Okay. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get that going. Had the timer running a little bit behind there, but it is now caught up. So, both players presenting for their game 2. We are going to have Joe on the play here, hopefully going to keep a 7. One of the things that is going to be pretty important in this particular game is Vault Scourge, a very big piece. Also runs Chalice of the Void in his deck. Landing that on a 1 will be very impactful. Smash to Smithereens out of Nathan's deck, very likely. Sideboards for Burn tend to not be overly elaborate and pretty simple. Smash to Smithereens is really one of the cards that can commonly be in there that is very likely going to be coming in. So, excellent point from Slowly Crashing. We've got a Mox Opal into a Memnite. No other plays as it currently sits, and a pass. So a little bit of a risky keep from Joe here. Really banking on getting either a land or an artifact to activate that Mox Opal and probably get an accelerated start. If I am Nathan at this point, going for that Memnite, going to be high priority. But instead, just playing a Mountain, getting a Rift Bolt into Suspend, that's going to be coming in next upkeep. So if Joe doesn't get it this turn, he is going to be in a tight spot, playing a couple of turns behind Nathan. And we could be seeing a pretty quick legacy match here. But in that event, we will be getting another match, hopefully up onto the feature table, so that we can stream that one as well. But still not a whole lot, just a swing for 1 from Joe. And we have got Nathan going down to 19, and a pass from Joe. So that Rift Bolt going for the Memnite, I like that play a lot, but it looks like that... Okay, so instead, just going for the player. Interesting. I would have liked to see him go for the Memnite. Really shuts down any options that Joe would have had. Okay, and it looks like our reveal, not getting anything that Joe was hoping to find off of that Goblin Guide, and a Chain Lightning from Nathan. So, Nathan comfortably at 19, Joe already at a precarious 12, especially when that is only 4 spells away, and, you know, possibly even less with this clock if he has any Fire Blast in hand. But Joe not doing a whole lot, and if he does have a Chalice in hand, I am surprised that we have not seen one on 0 as of yet. Reveal there, showing a land, so Joe able to at least get a land now. The big issue is right now deciding if he wants to block or not, and then at that point this Eidolon being out is actually going to still inhibit how much of a board he can develop. Choosing to take the 2, go down to 10, one, it keeps that Memnite up, probably so that he can maybe try and cast a 2-drop, and we have a Cranial Plating in hand. As far as him being on Tezzeret, it runs Tezzeret in the deck, but it is, as far as he's concerned, I think he was referring to it much more of being an Affinity deck than it is a Tezzeret deck, though it does have Tezzeret in it. A little bit less of a control deck, a bit more of an aggro deck. Okay, so we've got a 2-mana spell, it appears, going down to 8 to cast. Is that a Thopter Foundry? Interesting. So a Thopter Foundry from Joe, with 1 mana up, going to be able to sacrifice a non-token artifact to put in a 1/1 blue and also gain a life. So not a bad play from Joe here, getting out another Mox Opal, so he has one. He can now block with that Memnite and then sacrifice it to gain a life and create a Thopter. So we have a 1 block there, and now the activation. Going to be a net loss of going to gain 1 and then lose 2, go down to 5. Otherwise, not a whole lot of plays from Nathan. Looks like he has got a lot of land in hand, at least 2 of them. So if Joe is able to just keep this game going longer, he's going to be in a nice spot. Really high priority right now is to get rid of that Eidolon of the Great Revel, which is going to keep him from developing any sort of board. Okay. Let's see here. Joe not making any plays at the moment. Does have that Thopter to continue blocking. But not sure what we are looking at the moment. So we've got a 2-mana spell going down again. So getting to, again, a very dangerous place. and putting a Chalice of the Void on 1 mana, and a Bolt coming out in response, putting Joe down to 0, Nathan taking the win in 2. So, an impressive showing by Burn there. Affinity having a little bit of issues developing anything at the start of that game too. I would like to see a hand that could at least power out things. But Joe kept potentially a risky hand there and unfortunately paid the price for it. I'm going to see if they're willing to get me another match. Are you willing to try and get me another match?
What?
Are you willing to try and get me...
I can.
Are you willing to try and get me another match?
Yeah.
Cool, thank you. If you do, could you just knock and let me know what it is? Awesome. In the meantime, stick with me for just a couple minutes here. We are going to try to have another match up and running for you. They're just going to try and find another match that can move over. Shouldn't be too difficult. Very unlikely that many other went as quickly as that one did. Sorry if you guys got a little bit of an echo there, or a back sound, but that should be gone now. Yep, okay. Sorry about that. In the meantime, playing some Legacy. I am always enjoying learning a lot more about this Legacy landscape, and I feel like I've been doing a decent job of learning it better. One thing is, just by watching this has been a huge boost as far as my ability. But I'm going to take it back up to me while I'm waiting for another match. Okay, thank you for joining me. You will also notice that I've changed my background for the passing of Chris Rush. So, putting up his wonderful Black Lotus as my background for the night, and it looks like I might have another match.
We have Donovan and Ryan. Ryan on Mud, Donovan on Blue Red Delver. Donovan got game 1. They're moving to game, or they are early in game 2.
Okay, and Ryan is on the left.
Yeah, Donovan's against the wall.
Perfect. That is excellent. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Okay, so we are getting ready. We are heading into the game 2 of another match. Blue Red Delver versus Mud. Blue Red Delver taking game 1, and we are going to jump down there very quickly so that we can continue, and then I'll elaborate a bit more on what happened. Okay, so here we are, very beginning of game 2. One thing that you'll notice is that there are some proxies on the table. Something that we do is allow proxies and not sanction our Legacy tournaments so that we can get more people showing them. So for those of you who are wondering why that particular land is in black and white, there is your reason. So what we are looking at is a Blue-Red Delver that was actually put together mostly off of cube cards and whatnot, so to see it do so well against Mud in its game 1, pretty interesting and a little unexpected because the deck was pieced together and is certainly not optimal. But Prince Kermit, nice guy, captain, and the captain. Welcome, and it is good to see you guys again. As always, if you guys have any questions, comments, or feedback, feel free to let me know. So, a volcanic island going up against, I believe, a city of traders there. One of the lands that I haven't interacted with a ton yet, but that does look to be a city of traders. And we've got a Monastery Swiftspear into a Preordain for Donovan, allowing him to scry 2 and then draw 1. So that is going to put a Prowess trigger on that Monastery Swiftspear, and it's going to probably be swinging in for 2 this turn. Ryan going down to 18 with Donovan currently at 16. And a Chalice on 1 from Ryan. A very solid play there that is going to shut down a decent amount of this. For Devclock, how many proxies are allowed? We actually allow any number of proxies in these tournaments with the one stipulation that if you do end up getting any sort of credit with your winnings, that then they have to be used on cards that are in that deck that you are proxying. And a Hercules Recall out of the sideboard for Donovan. As for Nice Guy, is this a Prowess deck? It's a bit more of a Delver, but definitely it does have a prevalence on some Swiftspears. There is some Young Pyromancers, and some Delvers, I believe, as the main creature base. Okay, and a Brainstorm from Donovan. Going to be putting 2 of those cards back. Currently no fetch lands, and it doesn't look like he drew one, so he is going to actually be Brainstorm locking himself right now. Okay. And just a quick note, Wolf and Devclock, thank you for joining me. I don't think that I've interacted with you guys previously through the chat, so I'm happy to have you joining you guys, and if you do have any questions, comments, and whatnot, please let me know. And Captain, thank you for joining us from Thailand, if you are in Thailand, or if you're just informing us that that's the time in Thailand. Okay, so Ryan, redropping that Chalice on 1, still a very brutal thing against this deck, and it doesn't look like there were any answers available at the time, because it did resolve. Nice guy, congratulations on your Sliver Hive Lord. Personally, I'm a bit more of a Bolt kind of guy myself. And a Grim Monolith into a Metalworker from Ryan. So only on 1 land still. Doesn't look like a whole lot else in there, but that Grim Monolith is going to enable a decent amount of things if he can end up untapping it. Not at the moment, but that Metalworker is going to provide a huge boost in mana. Captain, I honestly really appreciate you joining me while you are on your vacation. That is really awesome to hear, so thank you. Okay, and we have got a Trinisphere and a Wormcoil Engine on the battlefield now, gaining a lot of mana off of that Metalworker being a very huge and powerful card. So, Metalworker adds 2 mana for each one. Looks like there was a total of 8 mana. In addition to that, City of Traders able to drop both of those. Really looking like Ryan is going to be taking this game 2 at this point. And a Steel Hellkite also. So this game very quickly passing favor. Okay. So Donovan down to 10. Ryan going all the way back up to 19. And I have a very hard time imagining how Donovan can pull out a win here unless he happens to have more Hercules recalls and a lot of pressure. The big issue is that the Hercules, even if it does resolve, really only delays Ryan by a pretty small amount, and when he is swinging for this much and gaining that much life, yep. And we have got a Game 2 win going to Ryan. So, both players going to Game 3. We are going to be having Donovan on the play. One notable thing, on the play does enable a lot of things. I'm not sure if there are any dazes in this deck, however, so that will be a slightly problematic thing as far as keeping any sort of tempo going. Force of Wills while being fine on the draw. Otherwise, if Ryan can able to get one of those control pieces down really quickly, you know, that Trinisphere or that Chalice, that is going to be really excellent at shutting down this blue-red Delver deck, with an Ugin as a potential to really wipe the board and control that game. Hyper. Actually, yes, someone has been trying Eldrazi in Legacy. David Bradbury, someone from our store who has been with me on the stream previously, has been putting together a list, trying out some things, I think with Glimpse of Nature, to do kind of a turbo Eldrazi with Gaia's Cradle to actually just power out a lot of Eldrazi in the same turn, is something that he's been playing with a little bit and having some, at least from a gold fishing and testing perspective, some success with. So I'm pretty excited to see if that deck develops any further. But if any of you guys have seen some other decks and want to let me know what kind of things that you've seen, always feel free to let me know. Doing an Eldrazi deck with Nicol Bolas sounds really interesting. I'm not really sure how you achieved that, maybe with Oath of Nissa, but overall, pretty impressive. Alright, and we've got both players getting ready for Game 3 here in round 1 of 4. Eldrazi Legacy is gimmicky. Absolutely, but when you see a deck perform so well and so dominantly in a modern Pro Tour, it's hard to really blame people, especially when you can go from having 8 soul lands to 12, from Ancient Tomb, Eye of Ugin, and Eldrazi Temple, and I'm not sure if they've been trying it at all, but really you also have access to City of Traders as well. So a lot more access to those soul lands, which are so powerful in making those opening hands of the Eldrazi deck so good. Archetype of Fatalities. Do you have a glimpse of nature? Absolutely. If you want to find out more about the deck, get in touch with David Bradbury. I'm sure he'd be happy to have some other people doing some testing with it. As far as it not being that far from Mud, very true. It just is much more of an aggressive deck than a controlling deck, which is what Mud strikes me as. Correct me if I'm wrong, but from everything that I've seen, Mud seems to be very much a control deck, and I think that the Eldrazi deck that people are at least trying is to take that same engine and then power it out there. As for the shirt, I know. Unfortunately, I really thought that blue would not have the problem of blending into the green screen, and that was wrong on my part. I do have a solution that I just came up with, which is to put on a sweatshirt that I know will not blend in. But very certainly I will have to spend a day coming in and just trying out a variety of shirts and seeing which ones are and are not green screen approved. But in the meantime, I'm going to do this, and I think that is going to work just fine. But thank you, Wakeside, for noticing, or at least paying attention. So, looks like we have the hand for Ryan decided. Donovan doing mulligan. So, slight disadvantage there, but that scry is certainly going to make it a lot better. And I have noticed that, at least in Modern and Standard, really going from 7 to 6, the introduction of that scry rule has really made it a significantly less painful scry to at least go for that first one. Okay. I'm seeing some things with Blood Artist and a bunch of 0/1s. That sounds really like a lot of fun. A lot like pretty much an Aristocrats deck, almost like the standard company or rally deck, but with the legacy thing. Just wear green shirts so my head floats. I have thought about it, but not really my thing. I really like to keep myself grounded. But I'm sure I'll do it one day. Blood Artist Illness in the ranks. I have seen that before. With one of the long times ago in Modern, I played against a deck that also ran Leyline of Singularity in their main board, and ran a lot of the hunted cards from Ravnica. And so it would provide you with a bunch of tokens, and then all those tokens, or at least some number of them, would die, as well of Illness in the rank, getting rid of any others. And so with your Blood Artist, you were able to continually gain life. I think it was also using Forbidden Orchard. I think Forbidden Orchard was also a deck that one was running, which allowed it to really get some, every time that they'd tap a mana, you'd lose a life and they'd gain a life. So, a Volcanic Island into a Monastery Swiftspear from Donovan. A fetch going down to 19, with Ryan playing down a Vesuva, very likely copying that Volcanic Island, coming in tapped. Alright, and just a basic mountain from Donovan into a young Pyromancer is what I am seeing there. So, once he starts casting some spells, that young Pyromancer is going to start accruing a lot of value. Doesn't look like Donovan has any free counter spells at the moment, but that Grim Monolith really going to let Ryan start accelerating out cards next turn. Okay, so another Monastery Swiftspear into a main phase Brainstorm. So really looking for something, probably that other land, and also getting a token there, and I will get some tokens over there. Let's see here. I know I do have a token box. The token box. Excellent. Could you get... there's a token box up at the counter that has some tokens that they can use instead of dice. Thank you. Okay, so we should have some tokens for that pretty shortly. Nice guy mentioning the 7 or 8 white planeswalker that gives you 100 life. I believe that you mean a Johnny. Okay, so we've got a Wasteland and a Vesuva and a Grim Monolith, and we have got Ryan taking a total of 8 damage, going down to 12. Donovan still at 19. 2 Swift Spears, a Young Pyromancer, and 1 Young Pyromancer token at the moment. Alright. And I am seeing what appears to be a Glimmer Post coming in. And that is going to excite a lot of money. We have a Metal Worker, but still not a whole lot. Able to gain 1 life off of that Glimmer Post. Not a whole lot of other things, but still only working with 3 mana. Drop in that Metal Worker. With all the artifacts in hand, that is going to start getting better. And it appears that we do not have any of the elemental tokens. Surprisingly, the hardest token to find, which is very unusual. But in the meantime, I guess he's going to be using those dragons as a replacement for it, but at least it's better than dice. So, those dragon tokens are elementals. Platinum Angel. Gotcha. There we go. And we have got a Ponder getting 2 Prowess triggers and an Elemental token. Looks like they're just going to be using any kind of tokens for that. Unfortunately, I do need to get a hold of some Elemental tokens, which are very difficult to get a hold on, but I am going to make it a priority. So my apologies on that. A Metalworker there, so Donovan really needs to get something together here, because with all of that mana, not knowing quite what is in Ryan's hand, but next turn he's going to have access to a lot of mana, and anything that Ryan can do is going to start doing the controlling part of this game. As for Platinum Angel, certainly a powerful card. Oh. For Captain, I will tell him. He might just be doing it for the sake of board clarity, however. As for voice tokens, I just have some other elemental ones in there. One interesting thing is that Abyssal Persecutor saw more competitive play than Platinum Angel in its time, which is always a funny little fact to me, since Abyssal Persecutor has such an effect that would normally not be very good. So, a Staff of Domination, a Steel Hellkite, and a Kuldotha Forgemaster revealed from that hand, gaining 6 mana, tapping that Vesuva in the Wasteland to put out an Ugin. Donovan does not have a Force of Will at this point, then that is going to minus wipe Donovan's board almost entirely and really start taking back this game. And as it currently stands, it doesn't look like right. And it looks like that Force of Will, pitching a card, not going to let that Ugin resolve, and we're going to see how Kuldotha Forgemaster enter the battlefield along with that Grim Monolith. So, next turn, and a Daze countering that. So, Donovan really taking this game, and that is going to be the end of Game 3. Ryan unable to put together anything, and Donovan really putting together some excellent counter magic at the end there, when Ryan was really trying to control the board at the end. I said at the end twice. My bad. Sorry about that. Still getting used to not having a co-host certainly means that I have to fill a lot more space with words. So, I'm going to see if there are any other games that we can possibly get on. Any other matches still going? Thank you. They're taking a look to see what other matches that they might have for us to toss up on the stream. So far, getting a good look at what we have got available to us in the room. Not a ton of decks, just about 10 decks in the room tonight. Going to be 4 rounds, so we should be able to see just a little bit of everything. But for those of you who might be new to our stream, thank you for joining. We do this stream 3 times a week. Legacy, we are only able to do once a week on these Fridays, starting at 7:30 Pacific time. Otherwise, I'm actually going to bring it back up to me really quick. Other than that, we do modern streams as well on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Wednesdays at 7 o'clock and Saturdays at 6 o'clock.
Alright, so we have one more match going to Game 3 right now. We can get up on the stream.
Excellent. What have we got?
Corbin on Goblins versus Logan on Blue-Green 12 post. And they are on turn 2 of Game 3.
So it is Logan on Blue-Green.
Yep, Blue-Green 12 post.
Blue-Green 12 post going up against Goblins. And heading into Game 3, do you know who happens to be on the play? It's okay if you don't.
I'm assuming Corbin because he's taking turn 2 and Logan has 1 land in play.
Excellent. Alright, let's head on down to that match. Okay, so we are here in Game 3. Looks like we have a Goblin Lackey along with a Cavern of Souls from Corbin. Getting an attack in against Logan, who is down to 19. And that card coming in, I believe, is a Goblin Matron? Still gotta learn some of these. No, not Goblin Matron. It's, dang it. Let's see here. If someone remembers the name of that particular goblin, please let me know. Goblin Matron, thank you very much. Oh, okay, so it's the Urza Saga one. Excellent. Okay, so it is a Goblin Matron. When it enters the battlefield, you can search for a goblin card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Also a 1/1. So Corbin's still a little bit light. Plays out a second Mountain. And we have got a Pile Driver entering the battlefield, which is going to get large. As for Captain, Chris Rush was one of the original 25 Magic artists. Created cards like Black Lotus, Original, Lightning Bolt, and a bunch of other variety of cards. Had a very comic book style. Unfortunately passed away recently. So, because of that, put the Black Lotus as my main background art for tonight. Okay. As for Doro, I have a feeling that that mat would be pretty clunky, but I'm certainly willing to try it. So, 2 Cavern of Souls at the moment, and looks like a Krenko Mob Boss coming out for Corbin, along with a pretty large swing, putting Logan down to 11. Really needs to get some kind of pressure. So far, that Sunsized Divining Top, the only board development that we've gotten from Logan as of yet. As for tackling Fuel, he is doing lanes forward. As far as things go, I'm not going to pick a fight about it at the moment, but certainly I'd prefer them to be behind, and I'll probably just ask him to change that for next time. But seeing as it is a Game 3 and they were willing to jump over, I think this time I will pick my battles, so to speak. So we've got 2 land from Logan being tapped. And now, at the start of Logan's turn, looks like we do actually have a Show and Tell. So Show and Tell entering into this, and a Primeval Titan coming in off of that. And what we have there is, I believe, a Goblin Ringleader. So unfortunately, not a great show and tell as far as things go. Logan is going to be able to get some pretty large lands and start going off next turn. That is if he is able to survive. It is going to block that Goblin Pile Driver, which is providing a lot of damage for him. But if Logan isn't able to put together something very soon, he is in trouble. As for Pancake, it's more that you put your creatures on the far right, the lands in front, anything else at the bottom left, and then a bunch of other things in the middle. But certainly I prefer lands not to be in front. Okay, so that Ringleader, a 2/2, also has a Lackey, a Goblin Pile Driver, a Krenko Mob Boss, Goblin Matron on the battlefield, along with 2 Cavern of Souls that will prevent any counter magic of creatures, and a basic mountain. Looking down, a Primeval Titan, which has just searched up a Glacial Chasm. Interesting, and I'm going to see what I can find out what that land on the right is. What's that land on the right? What's the land on the right that Logan got?
Oh, that one over here? Cloud Post.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Okay, so a Cloud Post and a... I think it's Glacial Chasm? Yep, and a Glacial Chasm. So, that cumulative upkeep going to force him to... basically eliminates any of the damage, or prevents all damage that would be dealt to you. Okay. As for Captain, absolutely, that Glacial Chasm is going to help prevent a lot of time, and if he ever needs to stop paying that, he can just, you know, choose not to pay that cumulative upkeep. So Rishadan Port for Corbin, looks like okay, maybe going to be using that at the upkeep, probably going to tap down... possibly the Cloud Post, just because post attacks, we might see Logan go for more Cloud Posts or more of those Locust lands, possibly one that is going to gain him that life. End up gaining 6 life in theory, but maybe going for a Cloud Post and a Glimmer Post. That way he'd be able to gain 3 life and also have access to a lot of mana. So if we see him using that Rishadan Port to tap down a land, might be tapping down, yep, the Cloud Post. Alright. And I believe we have Logan down to 9 off of that cumulative upkeep. A Wasteland would be excellent at this point. Okay, so going down to 9, gets the draw, and we have a Pithing Needle, which is going to be able to name that Rishadan Port if needed, and also another Glimmer Post. So we have a Pithing Needle, and probably naming the Rishadan Port would be my assumption, especially since we have the activation of a Krenko. What's the needle naming? Thank you. Okay, so that Pithing Needle is on Wasteland. Slowly Crashing is correct. That Pithing Needle is naming Wasteland. Alright, and for Corbin, we have got 5 goblins entering into the battlefield off of that Krenko Mob Boss. So now, 5/1/1 goblins, a Goblin Lackey, Goblin Matron, Goblin Pile Driver, a Goblin Ringleader, and a Krenko Mob Boss. The only one that does not have the word Goblin in its name. To Dev Clock and Slowly Crashing, thank you very much. Still figuring out some of the things about Legacy. So you guys were correct, and that is naming the Wasteland. So an Aether Vial for Corbin. For Captain, the Chasm is what is keeping Corbin from attacking. It does prevent any damage that would be dealt anyway. So not a whole lot of benefit because most of those triggers are when it deals damage. Oh, and it also just means that creatures you control cannot attack. It doesn't say all creatures cannot attack. Interestingly enough. Okay. Dev Clock being correct there. So we do have a Sensei's Divining Top. 2 things on that Glacial Chasm, activating that and going down to 5, finding themselves at a pretty risky position. Cannot pay next turns, but if he has another in the deck, a Primeval Titan attack could end up going for another Glacial Chasm if he has another one in the deck that would actually not have those counters on it for the cumulative upkeep. Or, depending on what he has in hand, could just see him going for a huge amount of mana and take a pretty big win. Otherwise, still have that Cloud Post with a very decent amount of mana, and might actually be passing the turn back. Okay. And making more goblins. Looks like we ran out of those goblin tokens, but created another 10 of them, so 15 goblins for Corbin. If he does ever get the chance to attack, it is going to be very hard for him not to get the kill off of that attack. Otherwise, still has that Rishadan Port to keep down some number of Logan's lands. Well, really just 1, I guess, not some number. And ticking up that Aether Vial to 1 counter, going into the draw. Has 4 cards in hand currently, does have a bunch of goblins. The main issue at this point is that he doesn't have a whole lot of ways, especially with that Pithing Needle naming Wasteland, to get through this Glacial Chasm. And a Pithing Needle from Logan. Gonna take a look at what he will be drawing next turn. Putting 1 card on top, and we will be seeing that Glacial Chasm sacrifice at Logan's next upkeep, because he can no longer afford, or he just cannot pay the 6 life that is required for that. So, we have an untap, and the Rishadan Port is also going to happen at the beginning of the upkeep. It looks like going to be taking down one of those lands. Okay. Sorry, trying to take care of multiple things. Still very unused to not having a co-host. I normally am able to get one, but most of them are actually wanting to play Legacy tonight. So, from Logan, getting that Vesuva tapped, which is, I assume, copying a Cloud Post, and that Glacial Chasm going to the graveyard, possibly going to, and actually pre-combat we're going to see something here. Because it looks like he was about to swing at that Primeval Titan, and if Corbin can keep him from attacking with that Primeval Titan and getting some number of land triggers, then that is going to slow him down pretty significantly. Okay, and a Gem Palm Incinerator is going to take that down. I'm going to assume that dang it, Gem Palm Incinerator. So, paying the 2 mana to cycle the Incinerator, discarding it, drawing a card, and when you cycle it, it can deal X damage, which is the number of goblins that you have. Taking down that Primeval Titan. If he is unable to get another one on the battlefield and get some lands out that might be able to save him, and actually has a Platinum Empyrean in hand. So with that Gem Palm Incinerator gone, Logan might be able to keep his life total from changing, which is going to be a very powerful thing as long as Corbin is unable to get another Gem Palm Incinerator. Might be looks like he's choosing between possibly another Primeval Titan and gonna go for that Platinum Empyrean. Okay. So Platinum Empyrean in 8-8 saying that Logan's life total cannot change. If he does have a Sting Scourger, that is going to be very unfortunate. A Sting Scourger out of the hand right now is going to bounce back that Platinum Empyrean, so this is what we are looking for from Corbin, who is also just getting a massive horde of goblins. Okay. There. Sorry, unfortunately, still trying to take care of a couple of different things at once. Also, I am loving Doro's new Doot command. Okay, so looks like we do have a Sting Scourger coming out, bouncing that Platinum Empyrean, and we have got a massive attack from Corbin. Doesn't look like Logan has much of a way to stop this. Very much doesn't, but it looks like they are counting out that amount of damage. And those goblins very much bring in the pain against Logan. So, a win for Corbin there in 3. With just a little bit of time left, so I'm going to bring it back up to me as we await going into this next round. And I can just introduce myself a little bit to any of you who have just joined. So, I'll see you up in the booth. Hello and thank you for joining me tonight. My name is TJ. I am streaming from Geek Fortress in Snohomish, Washington. Changed my background a little bit, still learning how to play with the green screen, but in honor of Chris Rush, who recently passed away, we are having a Black Lotus as our background for the night. Otherwise, we are playing 4 rounds of Legacy tonight. Should be an absolute blast. Just saw round 1 go. We were able to actually see 3 games going on. And when we only have 10 players, that certainly gave us a good look into what we have got in the room tonight. But still several decks, and we should be able to see a multitude of those throughout the evening. If you have not joined us before, thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. If you do have any questions, any comments, or any feedback, please let me know in that chat. I do keep an eye on it and try and interact with everybody. And if there's anything that you specifically need, or at least that I need to see, just put @GeekFortress in your question or comment, and that will highlight it for me to see much better. Otherwise, we are getting ready to head into round 2 here, and should be an absolute blast. We do this stream 3 times a week. Modern, it would be our other streams. So we have Wednesdays and Saturdays, Modern, 7 o'clock on Wednesdays, 6 o'clock on Saturdays. Both of those are Pacific time. And then on Fridays, we do this Legacy stream at 7:30 Pacific time. As for if the background, the Black Lotus is a lot of fun. Unable to get a bolt, or at least a high-res bolt, to have as my background is the reason why I do not have that one, because I am a big fan of bolt.
Everywhere. That's where.
Is the next round up?
Yeah, we're starting.
Okay. Could I borrow you for a moment?
Yeah, sure.
What is your name? And are you...
Nathaniel Schuessler.
Okay, hold on. I might ask you to spell that for me.
Yeah, that's fine. SCHUE.
C-H-U-E?
SSLER.
Okay, and what are you on?
I'm playing lands.
Lands? Perfect. Thank you very much.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we are going to be seeing Ryan on Mud going up against Lands in the hands of, I believe, Nathan. Or Nathaniel, sorry. Okay, perfect, and let's get Ryan up there, who is on Mud. Excellent, so we are going to be heading into round 2 here in just a moment. Should be an absolute blast. Otherwise, unfortunately, as I was entering that, it ended up getting wiped, so I was unable to see, or I unfortunately lost the last name that I had just typed in, so I should be getting that in just a moment. Otherwise, we have got the player up, and I'll just update his name. So let's head on down to the field, starting round 2 now. Thanks for joining me. And let me update those wins to say 0. Forgot to update that as I was going down to the table. So we have got, looks to be a cloud post. So we've got a cloud post for Ryan here in turn 1, followed by a Grove of the Burn Willows and what appears to be a fast bond. Not a fast bond. Unsure, or is that? Ugh. I'm not 100% sure of what that card is. Unfortunately, I don't know Legacy lands. Mana Bond, thank you. I was going to say, I'm fairly sure that Fast Bond is not legal in Legacy. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, I thought so. I thought that card was banned. And a Metalworker and a Grim Monolith from Ryan with a Vesuva coming in, very likely copying his Cloud Post. So we have a wide variety of lands. We've got 2 Grove of the Burn Willows, a two Thespian Stage, a Rishadan Port, and a land that I do not know by Nathaniel, though I'm going to see what I can do to find out what that is. Okay. Perfect. And that is updated there. Tranquil Thicket. Thank you very much. Okay, and that Metalworker revealing 3 artifacts, a Sundering Titan, a Chalice of the Void, and a Lodestone Golem. Pretty solid hand there, and that Sundering Titan going to be coming into the battlefield. Not a whole lot of lands to target with it, unfortunately, but it is going to be a very significant clock. Sundering Titan, the 7/10 that when it enters or leaves, you destroy a land of each type, or of each basic land type. But not a whole lot of those on the field at the moment. Okay. That Lodestone Golem, able to prevent some things, but as far as things costing more, not going to be super impactful for either of these decks, both of which have access to a huge amount of mana at the moment. And a Rishadan Port taking down one of those Cloud Posts. Okay. And looks like we have got a Taiga there from Nathan. And just a pass of the turn back. Okay, so a very quick game 1 there in the hands of Mud. Could you keep the big dice on those axes? Thank you. And there we go. A very fantastic start from Ryan. Able to just decimate that lands deck very quickly. As far as looks like the lands player flooded out. Love it. And HC Fox, thank you for joining us again. I believe you joined us a lot previously, and I haven't seen you for a bit, so thank you for joining us, and it is good to see you. At War, I am certainly happy to do it. That card display is certainly something that I can use more often, and I do try and use it for relevant cards. If I'm underusing it or overusing it, please let me know. I'm trying to kind of find that right balance of what I am actually putting up onto that screen to a point to where it's actually relevant cards that aren't distracting attention, but still able to provide some useful information. So, If that is something that you guys have any feedback on, certainly let me know. It's a lot of these little things that I'm really trying to improve over time. Because there's just so many things that, you know, I try to do and maybe I am doing them right sometimes, but just, you know, it's those little things that I'm really trying to improve that can sometimes make a big difference. G Lavamancer, think about putting a 1 of top in your Legacy Burn deck? Certainly, I don't know enough about Legacy Burn to fully comment, but that is the main deck that I play. It's not something that I would personally want to do, since I'd rather just, you know, have another burn spell in that slot and kill them. But I could see a reasonable argument to be made for it to avoid drawing any kind of lands, and you can also use some fetches to fetch away things that you are aware that you don't need. So, maybe, but it's not my personal thing. Dutch basically bringing up a good point, which is that you don't really need to dig for a whole lot of control. You just need to really cast 7 spells, and I'd rather just have those 7 spells in hand. If you're going to play 4 tops in your boards, you might as well make them Tybalts. They do the same thing of just draw your cards. Okay, so getting ready for Game 2. Ryan taking Game 1 very decisively, and Nathan is going to be leading us into Game 2. Yeah, I can understand the reasoning to not want to flood out, but personally, I'm a purist when it comes to burn decks, but I can see an argument for it, and I'm sure that it has been happening previously. So, we have got our opening 7. Looks like... A Sphere of Resistance being one of those cards in hand, making spells cost 1 more to cast. And we have got a Verdant Catacombs right off the bat. Nathan going down to 19. And going for a Taiga. So, starting off with a green and red mana. Possibly 1 mana spells include, I guess Gamble is a possibility, but seems unlikely. Mana Bond is a 1 of in this deck, and could be an exploration, or just could be nothing. So we have a pass to Ryan, who is going to put in an Ancient Tomb, take 2, and put down a Chalice on 1. Pretty excellent play there, and we are going to see a Tranquil Thicket get cycled for just a green mana, drawing him a Grove of the Burnwell, as it would appear. So, now no spells with a converted mana cost of 1 can be played, or at least can resolve. And a Sphere of Resistance coming into the battlefield. Okay. So, taking a look at that Chalice, and what we have got is... I don't quite know what that card is. I'm seeing what I can find out here. Not 100... Oh, that is a Mox. Okay, is that a Mox Diamond? Possibly. Okay. So I think that is a Mox Diamond, discarding a land, and putting down another Sphere of Resistance. And a Grim Monolith coming out from Ryan, passing the turn back, has a Glimmer, or a Glimmer Post, a Cloud Post, and an Ancient Tomb. So, taking 2 life and then being able to gain 2 life off of that. And another Sphere of Resistance. So, that is pretty impressive to have all of those. I'm not sure, honestly, how good they are against this. No, the Mox actually costs 0 mana. Chalice of the Void checks for the converted mana cost, not for the actual cost paid for the card. Okay, so a lot of mana here for Ryan, and going to drop just some Lightning Greaves, actually, by the look of it. We do have a Dark Depths in the battlefield for Nathan. That is one of the win conditions of this deck. The ability to copy that Dark Depths with a Thespian Stage, create a copy of it that does not have those ice counters, and put in a Merit Lage token. And those 2 Wastelands going to take down 2 of the Cloud Posts, it looks like. So, we have a Dark Depths that currently has 9 counters on it, so actually it looks like we're paying mana to remove some of those counters, which is pretty interesting. It's not something that I've seen much before. So, dropping a Kuldotha Forgemaster, which is then going to equip to these Lightning Greaves. Kuldotha Forgemaster, allowing him to sack 3 artifacts, search his library. Dang it, missed that one. I'm just going to get rid of that, and so that Kuldotha Forgemaster, going to find a Blightsteel Colossus, equip it up to those Lightning Greaves, and swing for 11 poison. Looks like we have got a win there. So that Blightsteel Colossus dealing 11 damage in Infect. Whew. Taking down a kill there. Doro, thank you for that. I am a fan of awful jokes, so I accept. As for Fmisio, thank you for joining us. I think we may have interacted with you in the chat some time ago, but thank you for joining us again. I think it's been some time since we've interacted, so good to see you again. Same to Romario Vidal. Cool. Are there any other matches that might be able to jump over?
We're going to game 2. Okay, you guys want to play here?
Cool. And we have got another game coming up. I'm going to find out who the players are, what game they're going into, and we're going to be seeing a game 2 in just a moment. And hello to Romario Vidal as well. Always fun to say hi to people. Okay. So let's get rid of that, and I am just prepping to get up our next match on there. A win against Lance is a win for everyone. That is certainly possible. Sorry, still trying to find out who is going to be moving over. But in the meantime, I'll say to those of you who have just joined, thank you for joining me. My name is TJ. I do this stream 3 times a week, and it is certainly a blast for me to interact with all of you so often. And it is a really, the most fun thing that I have doing this is just interacting with you guys as much. But it is also just a whole lot of fun to just talk about Magic. And doing that 3 times a week is an absolute blast. But if you are new, if you have any questions, any comments, or any feedback, always feel free to put that into the chat. I do have a view of it. And
Delver versus Goblin. I got game 1.
and you're on the right?
Yeah, right.
And you're up against Goblins?
I'm against Goblins, I'm up 1.
Excellent. Okay, so we're going to be seeing the Blue-Red Delver in the hands of Donovan versus the Goblins deck that we saw last round as well. So, Donovan, who is on Blue-Red Delver, actually taking game 1. So this deck that was put together just previously really proving itself to be a fairly effective deck, or at least effective at what it is trying to do. Taking game 1 against Goblins, and we are heading into game 2 here. Okay, so this Delver deck featuring some Monastery Swiftspears, Young Pyromancers, and Delver. Pretty much what you would expect from a deck like that. One of the main things that some of you who are just joining us will notice is that there are some proxies in these decks. We do allow proxies in our Legacy tournaments. We do not sanction them, and it is so that people can try out a bunch of things. Our one requirement is that the proxies have to be decent looking so that I can tell what they are on the stream. But other than that, people are allowed to try new things, the one stipulation being that if they win any credit from these tournaments, that they have to use that credit on the cards that they are proxying. So, if some of you would come across some questions about that, then that is the answer. As for Storm Chaser Mages replacing those Swift Spears, still uncertain, but I'm excited to see if Storm Chaser Mage makes any impact. So far has not made much of one, but certainly we have seen some game-changing cards reveal themselves a while after that they are released. But Captain raising pretty much the biggest issue with it, which is that 2 converted mana cost, which from a play perspective is unfortunately not 1 more than 1, but it is in fact twice 1, which, while exactly the same, is certainly an impact. So we're going to have Corbin on the play with this Goblins deck. Eat Delvers for days. Love it. That is a fantastic... I mean, you kind of had to force that one, but I can get behind. You really just can't waste something like that. Okay. Oh, man, I really need to do puns more often. They're always such a blast. Okay. But of course, we don't want to be so matronizing. This guy. This guy. God, those jokes are awful. Okay, so we've got the opening 7 from both players. Hopefully we will see both players keeping their opening hands. I do see some number of mountains and goblins in that Goblins deck, which is very much to be expected. What did I pitch? I don't know. I'll have to brainstorm some ideas. Ponder about it a bit. So, we've got a mountain. And looks like not a whole lot as far as the turn 1 plays go. Pretty surprising. A Goblin Lackey or an Aether Vial. Okay. And an Aether Vial coming down off of that mountain. Very much where this Goblin player wants to be. If you're certain they're not going to be dropping a Lackey, an Aether Vial is a solid place to be. It'll get around any of the counters that Donovan may have in this Delver deck, and also just provide a lot of abilities at instant speed off of those Goblins. Okay. So, in Donovan's hand we have a Force of Will, a Bolt, a Delver itself, some cards that are in black and white off of the printer, but I think I see a Young Pyromancer in there as well. HC Fox, a fantastic pun there. Okay. Also, if you can do the lands behind this time.
Well, it's not sanctioned.
Still. Okay, and we are going to see those lands behind the creatures this time. So we have an Aether Vial out. That Force of Will, or I'm sorry, we do not have an Aether Vial out. We saw a Force of Will take down that Aether Vial. And a Goblin Lackey coming out for Corbin. And a Lightning Bolt on that Goblin Lackey. So, Donovan not wasting any time in taking that down even before the pass, wanting to use all the mana available. We have got a second land there. Looks to be, I think, a Scalding Tarn? Yep. Unfortunately, his pictures are in black and white. I'm still able to... Oh, and of course, that art is certainly not going to help us. Going for a basic island, I think we can assume that it was, in fact, a Scalding Tarn. Currently has 2 mana, might be seeing that Young Pyromancer hit the battlefield. Really going to help him contend with those goblins, whether he needs to just have chump blockers for them for a decent amount of time while letting a flyer go over the top, or just actually providing pressure of his own. Lavamancer, as far as those proxies go, definitely not my favorite, but all out this time since I can tell what it is. Okay, so we've got a Preordain, a Young Pyromancer, and Electrolyze and I think a Delver in the hand of Donovan. So not getting another land there, but at least has a chump blocker to really distract from those goblin, or that goblin lackey. It's going to trade well with it. And it looks like they are getting out just an Eldrazi. Didn't want to use a goblin because those will be needed, but I do still need to get elemental tokens. Why does he have a proxy Young Pyromancer? That is a fantastic question. One thing is, I do know that this deck was built probably about an hour before the tournament, and they're just gonna use a dragon, it looks like, as the token. Captain, the Electrolyze is definitely an unusual choice in Legacy Delver. This deck was actually put together mostly based on what he had in his cube, some of which were proxies, and what he had in his binder. So, very much an unusual build. Seems to be doing somewhat effectively, interestingly enough. So we've got a Polluted Delta, an Electrolyze, another Young Pyromancer, and Electrolyze. Now we're just starting to pollute these puns. Okay, and a Delver of Secrets hitting the battlefield. We did see him do a Preordain and draw, so we could be seeing a flip next turn, but that fetch land is going to prevent anything useful off of that if he does need to go for a mana. I'm loving these puns. Keep them up. This is a blast. And another Goblin Lackey coming out for Corbin, and just a pass, unable to attack into this wall of creatures. And a Brainstorm getting revealed off of the top, flipping that Delver of Secrets into an Insectile Aberration. Okay, so Young Pyromancer being the card that is currently producing some of these tokens, probably going to end up making one of them off of a Brainstorm as well. And an Electrolyze doing a blowout on those two Goblin Lackeys. And we have got to swing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Corbin down to 14. So a lot of pressure being applied by this Donovan on this Delver deck. Looks like we will be seeing a win in one. Corbin likely keeping, okay, hitting his second mountain just now in turn 3, it looks like. Or turn 4, actually. And we've got a Mog War Marshal getting dazed. So we do actually have daze in this deck. Okay. So, currently 3 Delver tokens, a pass back to Donovan, who is now going to be swinging for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we are going to be seeing him going down to 6. Another Young Pyromancer comes in. A little bit of a tight spot. Donovan does have a Brainstorm, so if he needs to make a chump blocker for any reason, he can. And a Goblin Pile Driver coming in for Corbin, and a Brainstorm in response, possibly looking to just force that and call it a day. But otherwise, even that Pile Driver is not going to actually save him from the wall of creatures, so even if he doesn't counter it, but it is going to get Force of Will with a Jace getting exiled out of the hand. And I know what you're thinking. Yes, he is running a Jace in that Delver deck as well. So, using a Gideon emblem to represent another elemental token, and we are going to see a swing for the win from Donovan in this turn. Alright, and a swing 2. Game time? No, you certainly made it this time. And a win in 2 going to Donovan. Lord of the Pit, please feel free to come join us anytime. I would certainly love it. It's always fun to have new players here. Okay. Could you see if there's another match willing to jump onto the stream? Oh, yeah. Thank you. Excellent. And yes, basically making enough 1-1s to out-goblin the Goblin player. So, a good showing from Pyromancer again, and currently we are looking to get another match up onto that stream. So, we seem to be moving through them fast enough to get a pretty big variety of the decks that we have in the store. Should be able to get just about everything onto this stream at one point or another, which is always nice. And I'm just going to bring it up to me while we wait for another match, so stick with me. Hello and welcome to round 2 of 4 tonight. So far a lot of fun. Able to see a wide variety of decks. Just watched Delver take down Goblins in 2 after watching Mud take down Lands in 2. So far some pretty quick games. Waiting to get another one up onto this stream. In the meantime, thank you very much for joining. If you have not hit follow yet, please feel free to hit that follow button and join me for many more streams to come. Something that I'm having an absolute blast doing and always looking to improve and upgrade. And yeah, I have no intention of stopping. So please feel free to join me again. It is always an absolute blast to do this and interact with you guys so many times and 7 times a week. Otherwise, just waiting to get another match up and running. I'm going to take a look, see what we have got. What match are you guys heading to? What match are you guys heading to? Okay, and what are you playing? What is your last name?
A-Z-B-I-L-L.
A-Z-B-I-L-L. Okay.
Asbill.
Excellent. Oh, I'm totally spacing on his first name.
What?
I'm totally spacing on his... Landon.
Landon. No, it's Luckland. Luckland.
Okay. Excellent. I'm not sure what he's playing, but he is going up against Logan, who is on the 12 post. So let's go ahead and head on down to that match, and we can take a look, figure out what he is on, and yeah, let's watch some magic. Head into game 2. Unfortunately, I have the players on the wrong side, so let me fix that really quickly. And I have got, let's see what we can find out as far as these players go. Excellent. So heading into game 2, Logan with a game 1 win here in the second round. Tackling Fuel, I cannot wait to see you come in. That would be an absolute blast to have you come join us at the store. Okay. Lord of the Pit, thank you for the compliment on those transitions. And we have got a volcanic island and a tropical island out for Landon. I'm going to guess that's some kind of Delver deck. Excellent. Okay. But thank you for complimenting the transition. It's something that we're always looking to improve. So if there's anything that we can always change, always fantastic. So I'm going to guess that we are on Rug Delver, so that's what I'm going to put down. Because this is very much looking like Rug Delver. Okay, so a Vesuva copying that Cloud post, or actually that might be a Glimmer post. And what appears to be a Candelabra. So a Candelabra entering the battlefield, 1 mana spell, with X to tap, untap X lands. Once your lands start tapping for more than 1 mana, it becomes an absolute powerhouse of a spell. Otherwise, we currently have a 1/2 Tarmogoyf on the battlefield. Not a whole lot happening from those. Hey, Logan. And we have got a Bolt. Hey, Logan. Could you put that dice onto the X when they're up that high? They're a little bit out of my screen. Thank you. Yeah, that's excellent. Thank you. Okay, and we have got Logan going down to 18. Had some extra life off of those Glimmer posts. Otherwise, Landon at 19, Logan at 18. Now getting out an expedition. Looks like it is a fetch land, which is going to be going for a land. Otherwise, we have that Candelabra, again, still going to be able to produce a lot of mana once he starts getting lands that produce more than one color. Otherwise, we have an Ancestral Recall, currently suspended. That is, 4 turns from now, going to be able to draw him a lot of cards. Oh, and actually, this is not rugged over. This is shardless. Interesting. Okay, so this is actually a Cascade deck. Rug Waterfalls. Perfect. Rug Waterfalls it is. So that is probably just going to be cascading into a lot of things. Thank you very much. I said Ancestral Recall. I did mean Ancestral Visions. And we have got a Bloodbraid Elf going in. And it looks like I'm getting a visit.
Commentator.
Excellent. Hello, Dylan. Thank you for joining me. This is the store owner who lets me do this so many times.
I like watching Legacy.
Legacy
I gotta jump in on this.
Okay.
I was eating a Starburst too.
Wonderful.
Oh, my kisses are delicious now.
Okay, so a Primeval Titan going for a couple of those Cloud Posts, which is going to really enable that Candelabra.
Yeah, that Candelabra's a house at this point. I remember actually playing against Logan. We played, and this deck is just those post decks are. I mean, explosive.
Bonkers.
Yeah.
Say hi to everybody. These are all the people who come
Hello.
and visit me so often.
Hey guys.
And a Jitte out for Landon. Still that Tarmogoyf a 1-2, so not... Oh, actually, it looks like they are updating it now. And it should be going up to a 3-4. Still not a very impressive Tarmogoyf.
No, I know. It looks like he's... I can't tell. He's got the sorcery in the land, and then what's Landon got? Anything? He's got nothing in the graveyard? No
we've got a
fetches, no
land
spells?
and a sorcery, and doesn't look like a whole lot.
Is it even supposed to be a 3-4?
It is. We can't see Landon's graveyard. He's keeping it off to the side.
Oh, he's off to the
for me,
side?
So I'm going to assume.
Hey, Landon, move your graveyard so we can see it. Alright, there we go.
Okay, gonna just toss it down there for... That works for me.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Dylan plays, commentates, manages, and owns the store. Well, kind of, but he doesn't really commentate.
No, I don't do the commentating. Someone's got to run the place. Actually, we're running a draft as of right now, so I just told someone to keep an eye on because I like coming out and talking some legacy. But what's interesting here is like the Goyf and the Bloodbraid Elf, and he's got a Jitte. I mean, that's gonna be that'll race a prime time every day of the week. But until those lands start coming out, that's the problem. The damage is not the problem at this point. It is going to be what comes next. What? Phone. Oh, I'll be right back. Joe, take over.
Feel free to come join me, Joe. So, we do have a Primeval Titan now on the battlefield going in for an attack. Wide variety of mana, even though I have some little cards for them to represent mana with, but that's whatever. But a huge amount of mana coming off both from that Primeval Titan and that Candelabra. Landon definitely in trouble at this point. Has a Bolt in the graveyard, so we do have a 3-4 Goyf and an Emrakul coming in. And that is going to pretty much spell the end of the game. That cast trigger, if it doesn't get stifled right now, which is pretty unlikely.
Looking at his hand, it looks like he can't. I'm seeing a Force of Will and
it also has
red.
mana to cast the Emrakul and also go tutor up a colorless creature with Eye of Ogun. This is fantastic.
Oh, man. Oh.
Going for, I guess, a Platinum Empyrean just because.
Just completely lock the game down.
And we're going to be getting an extra turn, swinging in for 15. Landon only having 6 permanents at the moment is going to pretty much spell the end of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with a Platinum Empyrean, which is already absurd.
Yeah.
Offers him to cut the deck. At this point, doesn't really matter.
Yup. Jesus.
Okay, so still another Primeval Titan in hand, but really just unnecessary at this point. HC Fox, Reality Smashers, of course, the now multi-format All-Star. And We actually are seeing a play in response. Okay, it looks like there was a life total update that did not happen from the Primeval Titan swing last turn, so he's actually at 13. A bolt gonna target a bolt at Logan, or actually possibly at himself, and pretty much not gonna be alive anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, so Logan taking the win in 2. A lot of wins in 2 tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunate, by the way, to see you with Affinity in round 1.
I got pretty greedy game 2.
You
but,
got really greedy game 2.
Not actually as much as you'd think.
Uh,
I needed to draw 1 out of half of the cards in my deck, and that hand was flawless.
now you did have a chalice in hand. Any
Casting
reason-
it for 0 would have shot me in the foot because then I wouldn't have been able to play the second Mox Opal out of my hand.
True, but you at least would have had 8 mana.
It wouldn't have been worth it.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it would have been wasting my chalice that I needed to shut him down and disabling me from playing the second Mox Opal in hand.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Very unfortunate circumstance there. Do you happen to know if there's any other matches going on?
I can go take a look.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Yep.
So, we're going to see if we can get another match up and running.
That was it for the round. We're about to start the next.
Excellent. Okay, so we are about to actually have round 2 up and running. Stick with me for just a minute or two, and we should be heading up. So, going to transition really quick. Again, to all of you who may have just joined, thank you so much for joining me today. It is an absolute blast to be doing this with you guys. I do not have a co-host tonight. Some may be coming in and visiting every now and then, but otherwise, I'm just having a blast interacting with you guys. And if you do have any questions, comments, or feedback, please feel free to let me know. Anything that I can improve is always very important to me, but at the same time, anything that we are doing well and should continue doing is also an excellent bit of feedback, because we do try out some things. Sometimes we only do it once. Sometimes we are accidentally doing it and don't even realize. So if you guys ever do have any feedback, always fantastic to get from you guys. For our next match, we are going to be having Dylan going up against Landon. Landon, who we just saw on the waterfalls. And we are going to be seeing them going Dylan Falk, not quite sure what he is on, but we are going to be finding out very well. Okay, so we have got Rug Delver going up against Rug Waterfalls. Let's go ahead and head on down to the match. And should be a lot of fun. I'll be getting Dylan here in just a moment as a co-host. So, we will see you down there in just a moment, and Dylan might be joining me as we go forward with that. Okay, and a Brotherhood of Fire sitting down there. Dylan.
Alright, let's do this. What's going on?
Oh, he's keeping his Brotherhood of Fire on the battlefield, which is now covered by a Goblin
I
token.
know, and they're gang affiliations of the Brotherhoods of Fire.
Absolutely. Very absurd.
Alright, so I saw questions. Let me get back to those while they're shuffling up real quick, because I missed that. I apologize. I
Okay.
had to do store stuff. I think someone asked me what I play.
Yeah, what is your legacy?
Play
weapon of
Reanimator.
choice?
And I've been on the stream a couple times, been playing on there, but I'm a big Reanimator fan. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, no, I've always been if it plays from the graveyard and has Grizzlebrand in it, count me in.
Though you were not a huge fan of the Grisolbrand deck of Modern.
Yeah, but I did see that one guy, whose name I can't remember, he's playing blue, and with Baby Jace in there and Serum Visions, and that deck looked like it was like significantly more resilient. So,
Absolutely.
Grizzlebrand Tribal, yeah.
Pretty much.
Basically, if I could just like play Grizzlebrand and just a ton of swamps, I'm more than happy. I'll draw 7 cards. I don't care what they are. So, why is he calling it Rug Waterfalls?
So it's because his ideal game plan, I believe, is to just Cascade. So the whole deck, I think, he even runs a 1 of Thrumming Stone.
Oh my gosh.
So the whole point is to go like a Bloodbraid Elf into a Shardless Agent, into, you know, and especially with like a Throwing Stone, I've seen him actually go off in like playtesting.
Yeah.
To where he,
It looks like he mulliganed already.
yeah, I've seen him actually go with a Throwing Stone into like Brainstorm, ends up casting 3 Brainstorms, going into some bolts as well. It gets pretty absurd.
Landon's known for doing some of that stuff.
Yeah.
On Fridays, every now and then, it is kind of a drive, which I totally understand. I mean, I go down to Mox sometimes, and I play down there on Thursday for Legacy.
Lord of the Pit is actually someone who I believe is down in Seattle, and they were looking at coming up sometime.
Yeah.
If they
Oh,
can find some.
there's a couple guys that come from down there. Like, I know Sean Yu is a guy that was actually just talking about coming up tonight. It is kind of a drive, which I totally understand. But
It's Legacy,
I mean,
man.
It's Legacy. It's Friday night. You know, we did get like, I think we got 10 people, which isn't bad. You know, and there's a couple people that usually do show up that didn't show up tonight. So
Yeah.
it's tough up north of the wall.
Yeah, for Legacy, it's especially not bad.
Yeah.
Because, you
By
know,
the way, Lord of the Pit, my first rare in Magic, Lord of the Pit. Love. That's what got me into Magic. Was that card, that artwork is just like, it was amazing. I was just like, what is this? I'm like a 12-year-old kid. I'm like, what is this? Alright.
Okay, so we have what appears to be a Misty Rainforest there.
The classic land pass.
Yep.
Pass.
And just an island from Landon, who did have to mulligan a couple of times. I believe he ended up going down to 6.
Yeah, 6. I didn't see if he scribed or not. I must have missed that one.
I
But,
believe he did scribe, but I'm not sure if he put it on the top or
yeah, I
bottom.
didn't see that.
And we got a fetch for Dylan. That's how you know you're a powerful planeswalker. Love it.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be one of your. I don't know which. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure Rug Delver plays that the Stifled Days package.
Rogue Delver does.
Yeah, I know that is a very kind of ponder.
Going to be very excellent against those Cascade trees.
Yep. Stifles is. I don't know. We were talking about Landon's deck today, and I don't know. Like playing Delver, and it seems like you're just hosing yourself if you're not playing Bug or Rug. Yeah, that's pretty much true. It's true. I mean, I was 12 years old, and I was like, I found some cards, like, you know, I was just like, looked at them, and I was a baseball collector, cards and football cards and stuff like that, and I was like, wow, I found a card game I can collect and play with. I can't just, like, put them in a box. Okay, sign me up. And it looks like this. Yeah, that and Demonic Tutor. Those are, like, 2 of my most classic cards.
Okay, so Landon getting Brainstorm locked
Yeah.
at the moment, at least no fetch land on the battlefield, so he's guaranteed to draw that card.
Yep.
And if he doesn't have a fetch land in hand, he's going to be pretty much stuck knowing what he's going to draw next turn. It looks like 2 basics. Dylan putting in a Misty Rainforest to complement his Tropical Island at the moment. But still not a whole lot of action from both players.
Well, there we go. And maybe, you know, it could have been, I mean, like, you know, playing around like all the counter spells, and sometimes you got to do that. If you can't play that turn 1, but he does have the aggro on the for Landon's deck. I think he's running like 4 Swift Spears, 3 Young Pyromancers, and the Delver package.
So this is actually like a Delver deck that just tries to Cascade at the top.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit absurd.
Oh, Wasteland. There's gonna be see, there's that Goyf though.
So this Tarmogoyf already up to a 3/4.
Yeah, that's going to be a Swiss Spear stopper for sure.
And that Wasteland's surprisingly ineffective at the moment, but it does mean that Landon is going to have to consider anything else that he goes for.
Oh, there's
And a Daze out of Landon.
man, that's an interesting. Oh, and a Spell Pierce doesn't even bother playing the 1.
Daze just makes you pay 1, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just.
So instead of paying the 1, he's actually going to have him Daze, which seems really unusual.
And he's going to daze it. We just had a counterspell war. So Landon floated a blue and dazed it. Dylan spell pierced the daze. Landon used the blue to spell pierce his spell pierce. And then Dylan dazed the spell pierce. I think I got all of that right. But there was literally double sport. Yeah, that's the interaction. You got to have that extra land.
So Daze, Spell Pierce, Daze is what our stack looked
Yeah.
like.
And maybe that's why Dylan decided to. I mean, I guess he could have paid the 1, and then he wouldn't have had Spell Pierce mana, and then he still would have had to cast it or use the bouncing for the days and everything. So I don't know. I'm not much of a Delver player, so
Definitely an unusual stack
Oh,
there.
Reaver Demon. Reaver Demon's classic.
So, a Grim Lavamancer. Rogue, absolutely. I'm still a little bit thrown off that he didn't just pay the 1. But
Yeah.
a Grim Lavamancer.
See, that's what I thought too. I was like, I don't know why he just didn't pay the 1, because you're right, yeah. Then I guess with the creature still on the stack, he could have paid the 1, and then he could have. No, you're right. No, he couldn't spell pierce it. He can't spell pierce the Goyf. So yeah, I don't know. This is what you get. This is what you get. Friday night Legacy.
Okay.
So we got a 3/4 Goyf. I can't imagine it going much higher than that with this matchup. You're not gonna see.
Creature basically.
That's
the only thing that we can
that's about it. But the interesting thing is that Grim Lavamancer, because he's got 2 land, he's got what instant? He's got 3 instants, and Dylan's already got the instants in the graveyard. So actually, that Grim Lavamancer is not going to be quite effective. No, not taking that Goyf down.
Mm-hmm. As for days supposed to be above Pierce, with neither of these players playing anything that's actually graveyard relevant, I don't think that it's going to have a huge
I'll
effect.
tell them. I'll definitely tell them. I'll tell them to quit cheating. That days is not even a good printout. I'm going to tell them. We'll make sure they know.
So a Nimble Mongoose. Nimble Goose, I think, as Joe calls it.
Yeah, the Nimble Goose. And he's already at threshold. So, I mean, that was just a 1-drop, 3/3 hexproof.
Which is pretty solid,
Shroud, I
all
guess.
things considered.
Yeah, that's pretty solid here. Because, I mean, you're looking at, what Landon has. I mean, he's got a 1/1, which good utility. But then he's got a 1/2 that the only way he can even match is if he starts casting spells. And the only thing he can cast spells on is the Goyf, which can eat a bolt all day.
Yeah.
So, well, twice, but still.
I mean, it can be eat a bolt.
Yeah, he can eat a bolt, yeah. I mean, he's going to have to, do some serious considering, here now, because he can't just swing freely anymore.
I think that you are probably correct. I'm starting to think that this is just the blue.
It pretty much is blue-red Delver, yeah. I saw his deck list. I don't know if he called it Waterfalls or not, but it's basically...
I'm going to switch it, because I think the egg is correct, or the agate.
Agate? Oh, agate?
Yep.
Or egg 3T. Maybe
Yep.
he just, missed... It's supposed to be 3D,
So a ponder from Dylan, and Tackling Field bringing up a good point, is that Dylan fighting that counter battle actually makes a lot more sense knowing that it had
Get everything in the
a
graveyard.
Nimble Mongoose in hand.
Yeah.
Really allows him to fill up that graveyard quickly and just drop it as a 3/3.
Which is, I guess... He probably didn't need... I mean, what is he already at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, I guess... maybe a little bit of foresight on Dylan's part, but I mean, I can't imagine Rogue Delver having a... they can get stuff in the graveyard pretty easily. But still... 3... Agate was taken, Elite Speak, yeah. Yeah, this is going to be tough. This is the downward spiral.
I saw him cast a Bloodbraid Elf, so that at least is in the deck. So,
We're calling it Delver.
it's basically Delver right now.
He doesn't get to play. He doesn't get to call Waterfalls if he's just got one Cascade card in there.
Yeah, so at this point we're going to assume that it is Blue-Red Delver and that we were...
Yeah, I don't think it was... No, that was...
Okay, and a Snapcaster Mage coming in...
Wait. So I apologize. That's actually Donovan playing. So
that's why. Okay.
So that's really funny. I knew that the whole time too, because not even 3 hours ago I was actually helping Donovan build this deck. So that is
That did seem odd to me.
Yeah.
But you told me it was
Landon. I don't get a lot of
Landon.
sleep.
Okay, we apologize. This is actually Donovan on the Blue-Red Delver deck.
I mean, the decks are almost exactly the same, and they're both really good friends, and it's like they're just literally one's playing some Cascade stuff, and the other was just playing Blue-Red Delver. So, no, you're right. It was not the same person. It's totally Donovan, and I knew it was Donovan because I'm the one who told him to go on the stream. So you blame me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So just bringing up an interest, but basically just doing some massive sideboard tech right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we had a 4-spell Stifle. I didn't see what he for. Oh, Snapcaster. Yeah, he was trying to snap down, and Dylan wasn't having any of that. I mean, at this point now, it's Rug Delver's doing what they normally do. Oh, now there's the creature too. That's the creature you were looking for.
Okay. So that Goyf up to a 4/5 with creature, instant, sorcery, and land. Doubtful that we're going to get any enchantments from either of these players.
Was that punt on me? Is that what that was?
Yeah, that punt's on you.
I'll own it. I will accept that. That's definitely on me.
Doro is our fantastic mod who I basically just tossed that roll onto out of the blue, and he did a fantastic job of just taking on.
We had a very aggressive wasteland there. He's been drooling to use that wasteland for a while now. So, but yeah, no, I'll accept that punt. That's my bad. So the Swift Spear comes in for 1. Or was it 1 or 2? I couldn't tell. I didn't see if he played. He played the Delver. No, that didn't. Was it supposed to be 1 or 2? I couldn't tell.
Okay.
I couldn't tell if he played anything else.
Yeah.
So.
And a Brainstorm from Dylan here with a Spell Pierce and a Force in hand. Looks like just drawing more counter magic and maybe 1 land.
Yeah, I mean, unless Donovan drops into some serious spells here, this is gonna be real tough.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, not quite sure I forgot to restart the timer from the last round, so I need to figure out what the timer is at. If you could take a quick look.
36:50, John. Hey, no one's stealing the store, right? Good. All right.
36:51.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Excellent.
right. Good deal. Nice forest. Oh yes. As you can see, we actually got a giant forest back here. Almost. It's actually it's a green screen, but it looks nice though. Yeah. Forest. Grabbing the trees.
So we got a Tarmogoyf and a Nimble Mongoose attacking into Donovan here.
And Dylan's texting. He clearly does not care about this match at all. He's probably chatting with some girl because this is pretty close to being over.
Fairly significantly, yeah. We've got a chump block from the monastery. Oh,
no, he attacked last round. So
okay, I was a little bit confused by why I was going to the graveyard, but so far nothing happening. It is a swing for 7, so looks like we are going to see him going down to 4.
I mean, he's got a
significant.
It's
he's
an uphill
got
battle.
two counter spells in hand. I think the ability to spell pierce and to counter spell right now.
He's really hoping that at least Delver can flip and then block Mongoose. Sure.
Okay.
But even then, I'm pretty sure Dylan's got a Stifle in hand, right?
I'm not sure about a Stifle, but it wouldn't surprise me.
I couldn't tell if he does or not.
Okay. Matt Nefarious, you're more than welcome to come play some Legacy or Modern with us anytime.
Where are you from, actually, Matthew? You don't actually have to tell us. It's the internet. You don't want people knowing where you're at. But no, yeah, this is going to be tough because I don't think Delver did not flip.
No.
Delver did not flip. I mean, like at this point now, he's
just doesn't have the damage output.
No. The Goyf Nimble Mongoose is just too good of creatures. The deck is what's so good about that deck too is just like, I mean, I think the Tarmogoyf is the highest curve in the deck. It's like everything costs 1.
Yeah.
Oh, Texas, welcome.
Texas is a good place.
I was actually born in Texas. It's exciting news. I'm sure you're really happy to hear that.
And if that's not a reason to hit follow, then I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Right, so, and it looks like that is pretty close to a finish here.
Yeah, pretty close. I mean, he's hanging on for dear life, but he did flip the Delver.
Did flip the Delver. Stifle
so
exiled by looks like a Force of Will actually.
Yeah, that was Stifle exiled a while ago. So he passes. So he's got a blocker for Mongoose and he's got a blocker for Goyf, so he can at least try to hold out for another turn. I can't remember. I think that Goyf's supposed to only be a 3-powered Goyf because I think he exiled creatures.
Just ask him to double check.
What's that Goyf's power? Should it be? It should be a 3/4. Oh yeah. You exiled, yeah.
Good catch.
Yeah. I was wondering because I don't think he didn't have any creatures in there, so.
And that means that actually that Grim Lavamancer, I guess he doesn't have enough in his graveyard to actually do a full trade.
He just stifled the Grim Lavamancer trigger.
That is brutal. So we have, I think, a trade on that Nimble Mongoose, but it looks like Donovan going to make some sort of play. A daze on the Stifle?
Yeah, I mean, he's just... Yeah. So they trade there. He's got a basically now he's got a Goyf versus. Oh no, he's got a Goyf versus nothing.
Okay.
So top deck mode. Here we go. Rip it. Oh, he's not. He got one card in hand.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, now he's back up to a 4/5. Yeah, there he goes.
And nothing.
Yeah, no, nothing. Yeah, he's got. Yeah, like shows his hand of just counter.
So,
what was he saying about Storm Chaser Mage?
do you think there's a decent chance of a Legacy Storm Chaser Mage deck?
I don't know. That's tough. I mean, I don't know. That's tough because that 2 mana, it's not. I mean, it's worth trying out. Let's just say that.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely worth trying out because you can theoretically hit Delver on turn 1, and then if you flip Delver, drop a Storm Chaser Mage, and you're swinging for 4. And then you got, the deck plays Dazes and Forces, so, you don't even need mana for any of that stuff. But I think theoretically what a lot of times what you want to do is you want to have Spell Pierce mana up too. But, it's worth trying. It's a really cool card. I'm a huge fan of that card, so...
It would be really unfortunate to have 2 lanes, that card in your hand, and a Daze, however, because that puts it back to a turn 3 play if you're going to be dazing it.
Yeah, I know. That's the rough part. Maybe the blue-red Delver decks, they can play it a little bit differently.
Lord of the Pit, you are correct. I forgot to update that. Thank you very much.
Oh my gosh. You guys, you got to keep him on.
Seriously.
He clearly is just slacking.
When I don't have
What
a
are we even
co-host,
doing back here?
things get out of control. When I don't have a
That's true.
co-host.
No, Legacy's fun. I really only care about the cards. It is round 3. Round 3 of 4. There's 4 rounds because, it's Friday night. We want to stretch it out a little bit. I don't know. No one else is doing anything anyway, so,
No,
we might even we'll just double up. Maybe have you guys Skype in to play.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
That would be fun. I don't know how to do that, though, so.
We could try it, but basically put a laptop at a bunch of tables.
Yeah.
Hook them up to different laptops and just, you sit down across
man.
them and face that laptop.
Playing laptop to laptop.
Yeah.
Technology's good.
And then when they get paired against each other, just have laptops face each other.
Just face each other.
This is the best idea possible.
Man. I don't know how many got 17 laptops just sitting around. Everyone sign in, no big deal.
This stream is already running very much in the red as far as budget goes. What's another, dozen laptops going to cost?
No big deal, right? As long as we don't buy MacBooks.
It's a business expense.
A lot of good faith. Yeah, that's true. It's I totally just drew the one card I needed, guys. Sure.
Every time.
Brothers of Fire. These thugs, man. We got a lot of crime up here with the Brothers of Fire gang. God, they're just brutal.
This is facetious, by the way.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, 100%. Dylan just keeps thinking he thinks it's funny. Because I think it's what Summon Brothers of Fire is. I think it was what it originally was called. They eroded it probably to human or I don't know something not fun, but
mostly he just
Summon Brothers. Oh man, Summon Brothers. That's funny.
So that's the card that is currently on the mat. No, it has no relevance on the current game.
Absolutely none.
Dylan just likes to put it onto that screen.
He loves that card.
Every...
Forest in the trees. Yeah. What did you say about Storm Chaser decks? Oh yeah, and Jeskai. Yeah, that's true. You can run the True Name package, which is True Name plus, what is it, GT and maybe a Sword of Fire and Ice or something like that. Oh, nope, the brothers. I moved the brothers. What is...
It's Donovan and Dylan. Unfortunately, this is about what I expected.
You guys are ridiculous. Come on.
Okay.
All right.
So, getting ready for Game 2. Donovan is going to be on the play with this Delver deck. He does have Dazes. Probably took out those Force of Wills.
Yeah. This is a tough matchup because, they're almost running the same exact package. I think Dylan's running Stifles, and that's, really... Then they're both running a combination of Daze, Spell Pierce, and Forces. Probably... Dylan doesn't really probably have a whole lot. He keeps in, a lot of that stuff. Maybe takes out the Spell Pierces. I don't know. I don't know. I know I hate playing against that deck. Because, as a reanimator player, there's nothing worse than wanting to draw 7 cards and lose 7 life and watching a Stifle just make me lose 7 life. One blue mana 7 life is a pretty good card. So we got, let's see here, what's Donovan got? He's got a couple of lands. I see a Bolt. I see a Young Pyromancer. Oh, he's just got a 1 lander, it looks like. And it looks like we got 2 keeps. Dylan looks like...
Ooh, so Grim Lavamancer from Donovan, a pretty solid start. Not going to contend well against any Delvers or Nimble Mongoose.
Nimble Mongoose.
Actually, right now it does a pretty solid job of it.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely can.
The big issue right now is that Donovan's lack of a lot of fetch lands is really stealing away from a lot of that fuel
Right.
for the Grim Lavamancer.
And he's got hardly any fetches. I see a force in his hand. I think he actually is going to force this.
Okay.
He's holding it there, being ever so. Yep, there it is. Okay, so he's got a force pitch force.
Okay.
2 forces, that hurts. And then we got the days. Yep. Okay, so
really forceful hand from Donovan here.
that hurts Donovan a lot.
Yeah.
He loses 2 forces, and now he's staring at a mongoose with a couple more cards in the graveyard.
And nothing to Wasteland.
Nothing to Wasteland. And I can't tell what
That is a Scalding Tarn.
Scalding Tarn, yeah.
Yep. So a Scalding Tarn from Donovan's side of the field.
Thank you, Rogue. Yes, there is something worse when they get to draw 7. That's no fun either. Luckily, it doesn't come up too often, but never feels good. Oh, he has an attack.
So a swing for 1 off of that Grim Lavamancer.
Establishing, I don't know why he did that. I mean, he now has 2 cards in his graveyard, but I think he's just kind of...
It is really unusual. He might be... I mean, the Nimble Mongoose does have Shroud at all times, correct?
Yeah, it is Shroud. Cannot be targeted.
So, doesn't have a whole lot of target. Probably just offering the trade now, because going for the 2 damage to the face, not going to be super relevant
That's
at
why
this
he did
point.
it. He wanted to drop down. Young Pyromancer, which I'm actually... I don't know. That Force of Will seems like a really...
Ambitious.
Yeah.
Especially if you're about to drop a Young Pyromancer.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
And then you could have that Force of Will in hand to get a counter and go for things that will actually not,
I mean, he shouldn't worry about the Nimble Mongoose right away, because it is just right now as a it's a 1/1.
And it would get chump blocked all day by those Pyromancer.
He's not going to attack with it. So yeah, well, he's still new to Legacy. Dylan's a pretty experienced Legacy player, and he's played that deck for a little while now. And Donovan's definitely just trying to get into the format and learn it a little bit more. So Donovan's definitely a modern player. That's what he is.
He's a cube player more than anything. I think if you were to ask him.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay, yeah, 15 life is what he should be at.
Yep.
And then there's the Delver, and yeah, nothing for Delver because he's got the 1 mana for days. Dylan can't spell pierce it.
And a Brainstorm main phase. So really looking for something. I saw a Wasteland in at least that 3, but I didn't see a whole lot else in that hand.
Yeah, I think his hand was like which I'm actually surprised because I mean, a turn 1 Grim Lavamancer and then a failed force on a Nimble Mongoose usually means that you're kind of on the back pedal, but if he hits that Delver and he makes that thing flip, there's a wasted Wasteland.
Mm-hmm.
And he does on a Brainstorm. So yeah, things are looking a little tough for Dylan at this moment because now he knows that he's got a Brainstorm. He's got tons of blockers. He's got cards in the graveyard.
That Wasteland is essentially a waste.
It's a colorless land.
Yep. Not very effective as it currently stands. Interesting.
Ooh,
so
slams it into there.
I was actually about to say I'd be really surprised if he swings with this Young Pyromancer.
I think he's gonna bolt. Yeah, he's gonna cast a couple things. I think first, but yeah, that was an interesting swing.
Really ambitious swing, and we're also gonna see another 4. So gonna go down to 8. But offering a Young Pyromancer that has so much utility just for an extra 2 damage against that Nimble Mongoose, really aggressive.
Yeah, it definitely is because I mean now you know that he probably won't. He'll be done attacking with the Grim Lavamancer because he doesn't need to now.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking at he's got a 2-turn clock on him. He swings with the Delver twice, and then 1 Grim Lavamancer trigger, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, and he just dropped a 2nd Wasteland. It's not good.
Very brutal. And
and he's got the 2 tokens too. So actually, you don't even need to. He doesn't need to swing with those. 1 Delver swing, 1 Grim Lavamancer trigger, and then 1 more Delver swing is pretty much it. And let's see, Dylan's literally got to rip a Delver. No, actually,
Doesn't work.
2nd Delver. No, this is...
doesn't have any red mana for removal spells to be effective.
This is going to be tough. And he swings with the tokens anyway, just...
Offering the trade. I mean,
1,
it's
2,
not a bad idea.
3, 4, 5,
Your clock is the same regardless, which is a
he
little
scooped it
ambitious.
up. Yeah, that was a pretty good Delver flip, which I'm surprised. I'm surprised that Force of Will did not work in his favor, but he still ended up getting there. So
yeah, really aggressive start, and ended up paying off, but I think that's more off of Dylan just not having any kind of mana base. Took a really risky keep with what looked to be a one-lander.
Yeah.
And then dazing after that.
Well, that's the thing, though, is like Rug Delver can keep a one-lander every day of the week. I mean, that is Mongoose, that is Delver, that is Spell Pierce, that is something to bounce back for days. They can't cast a Tarmogoyf, but then the secondary mana is... I think those decks only run like 17 lands, too. It is a deck that is designed to live off of 1 mana, and then 2 is enough, and then 3 is flooding out for them. 3 mana is flooding out, which is just absurd.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, that is. It's basically like, I mean, it's like a burn deck for the most part, but it's like all the exact opposite of burn, which is just like little creatures that can survive and then counter magic for 1 or less mana.
It does operate pretty similarly, though, because Nimble Mongoose and Delver both act as bolts by having that 3 power. And so they're just such a repetitious clock that one card you get that multiple bolts
and then they just keep it there. Yeah, he could have gotten Threshold. I saw that. I was just like...
It doesn't do a whole lot at that point, though.
I mean, then he's sitting on a 1 colorless mana and a 3/3 blocker that, I mean... I think it got out of control just too quickly. I don't think Dylan ripped off it. I think he needed a second land to really kind of get things going there. And not to mention a Flip Delver, a Young Pyromancer, and a Grim Lavamancer. I mean, it was just... He had that, I mean, a good curve.
Board.
He had a good curve.
Though starting off with Grim Lavamancer is certainly unusual.
Yeah, it is. But it was surprisingly effective. I mean, because then it had that just constant... And what's ironic is the Grim Lavamancer, since it can actually remove cards from the graveyard and actually downgrade a Goyf and then hit it potentially to get rid of it, which would be sweet. That'd be a pretty cool play.
That would be the sweetest.
Exile 2 things to downgrade a Goyf.
I think we almost saw that from Donovan in Game 1, but it got stifled.
Yeah, I know. So it looks like he's got Daze. We got a land pass. Clearly they're both keeping, so...
It certainly appears to be that way. Okay, and a Delver of Secrets from Donovan, who is getting a much more aggressive start now.
That's a pretty good one, and you didn't get... We got a Ponder, uh-oh. So if we hit this Flip Delver, I think Dylan is once again backpedaling, because he didn't have a...
No land in that Ponder.
No Daze, no nothing for that. No turn 1 Mongoose, no turn 1 Delver.
Probably going to be shuffling and drawing off of that.
Yeah, I think so. I couldn't tell what the 3 cards were, but if he didn't hit a secondary land to hit his land drop, then that's going to be tough.
As a fun little fact, coming soon to this stream is we are going to actually end up having some hand cams so that we are more aware of what is in their hands. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, because unless they put down their hands like what Donovan's doing, which is funny because I do the same thing all the time. When I'm playing, I'm not a hand shuffler. It drives me
even
bananas.
Just showing it once.
Yeah, showing it once. Yeah,
no,
totally. But yeah, Donovan, he likes putting his hand down just like I do. So we got a land. So he hit his land. But he got another land pass. So Donovan's looking. He didn't clearly get it because I think that would have been a... Sometimes I've actually seen where people don't flip Delver because they don't want the information to be given out. That actually happened. I was playing against a Rug player. And he didn't flip a Stifle and hit me with a Stifle. And that was an unfortunate moment. So he's got a Young Pyromancer. Oh, he just ripped a Bolt, so that's going to be really good. Because, yeah, he's going to slam that Bolt down. Because you do not want that getting out of control.
No, absolutely not. Going down to 18 on that fetch, but such a small cost to take down.
Yeah, the whole Tells thing, I know. It's like a... Oh, he's got a Force. Ooh, Force pitching a Jace.
Which Jace in this Delver deck?
Nah.
Absurd.
Yeah.
Keeps doing it, but...
And he gets the token and everything. Oh, that's real bad for Dylan.
I'd like to see how many times in this entire match Jace has been exiled to Force a Will as opposed to actually cast. And
I'm sure it's probably almost every time.
Yeah. Almost to Force every time.
All right.
Okay.
Bye, Mason. That was Mason. He's a big Modern player. You've probably seen him on the stream if you've ever checked out the Modern time.
Runs all kinds of
I think
zoo.
the Bolt was in the top 3 for the Ponder. Oh. And drew the third with the fetch, yeah. But that's...
Okay.
This is looking real tough. Dylan needs to find some sort of answer. So, switch up their life there. What is it? 19 to 14?
Yes.
Yeah, that's tough. That's going to be tough. Land, pass again. Gosh, no Goyfs. No, I can't tell what he's got in his hand, but he's got to slam down a creature to stop the bleeding there.
Yeah,
Cause,
I see a Pyro, or what is that?
Pyroblast, yeah, Pyroblast. That's definitely a sideboard tech right there. I mean, it pretty much takes out any. I mean, when Pyroblast can, for 1 mana, kill a creature or stop a Force of Will, that's pretty solid.
Yeah. And another young Pyromancer.
Yeah. Oof, and Dylan just drew another land. And he's already got a Wasteland in hand, so... Oh, yeah, Dylan's flooding out big time. I think he's got 2 lands in hand. Oof.
And nothing to do with them.
Yeah, that's real. This one's getting real close to being.
No utility lands to be seen.
He's just stifled with his last... Yeah, so he's got 2 lands in hand, and yeah, this one's going to be...
Probably in 3 going to...
Thank you, Sonny T.
Yeah. Donovan with a deck that was probably built about an hour before this tournament, right? Maybe?
Yeah. We
and already
just kind of throwing it together.
About to be 3.
I mean, Delver decks. I mean, they're ridiculous. I mean, you can do so many things with Delver decks. I mean, it's literally just, Delver plus company. Whether you want to play Goyfs, Mongoose, Young Pyromancer, Snapcaster, it is, yeah, Mistress Factories, yeah. Oh, no, that was it. Oh, my gosh. That was a pretty rough hand for Dylan. I think he could not have had a worse hand. I mean, when you see 5 lands in what I think is right around a 17 or 18 land deck, I mean, that's real bad news.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Dylan, are you willing to do me a favor?
Yeah, I'm going to go find some new people.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
I'll be right back. Whoa.
Okay. So, stick with us for a moment. We are not done yet here in round 3 of 4, so we've still got another one coming up after this. And right now we are looking to find some players for you, so I'm just going to bring it back up to me, and we'll go back down to the match when we have some players. Excellent. So, we should be getting another match for you very shortly. In the meantime, I will say thank you to anybody who has just recently joined. We really appreciate having you in this stream and in this chat and just joining us in general. This is something that we do 3 times a week. We're streaming from Geek Fortress in Snohomish, Washington. And we do Modern on Wednesdays and Saturdays, Legacy on Fridays, which you are currently joining us for. I've also got Dylan sometimes in the booth with me here. He is the store owner. Noticed I did not have a co-host and has come in out to help me when he can. Clearly we do need a Miracle's Mirror. Gotta love that. Probably unnecessary, however. But thank you so much for joining. If you do want to hit that follow button, we're going to keep doing this, keep trying to improve this stream every single time that we do it, and I would like to think that it's certainly a step that we've taken. This green screen definitely being the most significant one recently, because it just has a huge effect, and you will notice that we have the Black Lotus tonight for Chris Rush, who passed away recently. So, doing that tonight for him, and then we will be going back to some other backgrounds moving forward. Still working out which ones we want to do consistently. The John Avon Full Art Forest so far been a big one for me. Part of it is because having something green around you can kind of hide some of the flaws of the green screen. As far as a Miracle's Mirror, we will not be getting a Miracle's Mirror on the stream. I do not believe we have 2 Miracles players in here. So, not a possibility. Plus, they'd have to even be going up against each other. So don't worry about that for now. Otherwise, an absolute blast having you here. Always looking to learn more about Legacy. I have been doing my best to learn a lot of it. I think I've been doing a lot better than I have in previous Legacy streams, but as always, feel free to correct me if I say something incorrectly. It's one of the better ways that I learn, being told what is the actual correct answer. Do we have any Miracles here tonight? I don't think so. We do have a Miracles player by the name of Justin, who is here pretty often. I don't believe he's here tonight. I think he got stuck working. So, none at the moment, but on a decent amount of Fridays, we do have some Miracles players, and also for our Modern No-Ban list, we've had some Legacy players. Okay. Lord of the Pit, thank you very much. Actually, I really appreciate that. One of the things is that I do try and achieve a balance when I'm doing this. It's very difficult to try and balance between working with you guys in the chat, commentating on the match itself, and also one of the things that I have to do is I don't really have anyone doing any of the numbers, so as I change these numbers, they are all me doing it. So you will see stuff like this, and then it will turn into this. And it's all stuff that I am currently doing here. So certainly finding the balance between that and updating life totals. Definitely working on improving it. Unfortunately, I've not been as good at updating the life totals tonight as I would like to be. Having a co-host in the form of Dylan is certainly helping that out, and I will work on improving that going forward in this round 3 and definitely into round 4. But thank you for that feedback. As much as I do, this is going to sound weird, but as much as I do love negative feedback, positive feedback is also excellent because it lets me know which things I should continue doing and not, cycle some things out. Do we have any elf players? Yes, we do have elf players that come around here. I'm not sure about tonight as well. Looks to be just a couple of Delver players and most of the stuff that we've already seen, so I don't think we have any elf players tonight, but we do certainly have some locally who are willing to play their decks sometimes, and I can try to get some of them to come next Friday, actually. And Slowly Crashing is one of our elves players. Rad Green, thank you very much. And honestly, I don't know who Lord of the Pit is, but thank you very much, and hopefully your stream is going well as well. A mascot for the permanent? I don't know, a cat would just knock over everything, probably end up climbing up this Black Lotus. That'd be pretty difficult. But overall, it is just a blast.
Ryan versus Corbin. Ryan's on the wall, and I'll be back here in a second.
Ryan versus Corbin, thank you. What? Hey Ryan, what game are you guys on?
Then we're just starting round 4.
Oh, this is round 4?
Round 4, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, we are in the last round.
Excellent. So we are actually heading into round 4. We're going to have Ryan on his mud deck going up against Goblins in the hands of Corbin. So we had a pretty quick round 3 and about to head into Goblins. Here in our final round 4 should be an absolute blast. Thank you for sticking with me, and let's continue some commentary. I will be getting Dylan back in here shortly. So let's head on down. For those of you wondering who that was Donovan, who is always down for making a fuss, and I think he noticed that the door opened and took that as an opportunity to make a fuss. Lord of the Pit, understandable. I haven't made it down to Mox in quite some time, usually because I'm either in school, at work, doing this stream, or a variety of other things, but I would love to meet you. So if I ever do, and I don't recognize you because all I know you by is by that name, please introduce yourself because, yeah, it's absolutely a blast interacting with you. So I look forward to meeting either down in Seattle or up here in Snohomish. So let me get rid of those win counters there because this is the start of our 4th and final round here at Geek Fortress in Snohomish, Washington. We should be able to get another variety of matches out there. That seems to be what we've been able to do so far, which is very exciting for me because I get to see a big variety of those decks, and it's just, I like seeing a lot of these things going down. It's one of the things that I really like about Modern and Legacy. Doing this commentary allows me to see just such a wide variety of decks and learn about them, and also just see from the perspective of the people playing them why they might be making those decisions, seeing what's in their hands. So this has been an excellent experience for me, and hopefully it is one for all of you as well to get this inside look as well. So Wasteland going into an Aether Vial from this Goblins player who is on the play. Pretty solid start there, especially since Mud is going to be unable to resolve it, and also some of these taxing effects that Ryan has is good. The Aether Vial is going to be able to go around that.
All right, so what do we got here? This is an interesting matchup. I picked this one because Ditto is he's someone who's really trying to get into Legacy, but I mean, when you're like 16, Wastelands are hard to come by, and his deck is just like, I don't know how interesting. I mean, like, so many things are not good in this matchup. Like, his creatures are tiny. Brian can dump out huge. I mean, look, he's got an Ugin in hand already. It's just, oof.
Okay, so an ancient tomb taking him down to 18, and with what I believe is a
metal
cloud
worker.
post getting into
Yep.
a metalworker.
Yep. And this is where it can just all be down. I mean, like, he can... I think he's... Actually, it looks like Ryan's hand is not great. I see a Wasteland, which is... it could be okay in this matchup. I mean, you get rid of a port.
A
but
Wasteland and a Rashadan Port, both very good for Corbin to have against Ryan right now.
Yeah. I mean, because he can lock out Ryan. But then the problem is, Metalworker is really good. Because, I mean, you can reveal some dudes and drop a... I mean, I don't know what Corbin has, like, in his deck if Ryan just slams down a Worm Coil.
Yeah, I would be expecting to see more things keeping that tap down. So we're going to see the Rashadan Port probably going to go for the Ancient Tomb.
Ancient Tomb. And he's going to
And,
wasteland the
yeah.
Cal. Yeah, that's what he's got to do.
I like that a lot, and
And
now
then-
he is...
Oh my gosh, never mind. Maybe that is was that a Glacial Ray?
in whose hand?
Oh no, I can't tell what Corbin just landed
Oh,
on
that
there
is
for a
a
creature.
Sting Scourge, I think?
And there goes the other Wasteland. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So... Oh, dang it. So,
There it
a
is,
Sting
yeah.
Scourger coming out, bouncing back that Metalworker.
Yeah,
Really
which-
sweet play.
Yeah, that's what he's got to do because he can't let Metalworker can just. I mean, he can lock him down fairly easily, or at least slow him down.
Okay, so that Ancient Tomb still tapped down. Ryan having a little bit of mana issues at this point, especially with that Wasteland. Able to,
He's got another land though, so he can keep him down. Scourger had to go to the graveyard. He didn't pay that echo cost.
which is to be expected. Paying
Yeah.
4 for it is just, for just a 2/2.
Yeah.
It's already done a huge part in this matchup, which is keeping that Metalworker from happening.
Yeah. And
So.
he can, actually,
A
he's got
big...
a pretty solid start here so far. It's weird. The Goblins deck is a lot like Death and Taxes. It's got the same kind of control package with the ports and the wastelands and everything, and then but it's got a lot more aggressive creatures as opposed to like Thalia type creatures that are controlling the board and whatnot. And another Goblin in there. I think that's the one that lets them go and search for one.
Okay.
Is that Goblin Matron, I believe? That's a...
That is Goblin Matron that allows him to search for a Goblin and put it into his hand.
Yeah, that's going to be good, because now he can just... Any Goblin that he wants to, anything that puts out more Goblins, because his Goblin Pile Driver has got to hit home hard. That's going to be... Because if he gets a Goblin that puts out the tokens, that Pile Driver is going to be hitting... I mean, that's a 2-turn clock almost, if he gets the right Goblin.
Yeah, and keeping the mana down on Ryan is going to be very important.
Yeah, so I mean, like, next turn he can Aether Vial it in. I mean, like, it's such a familiar, like, Death and Taxes type deck.
Mm-hmm.
Aether Vials to get around counter spells, and then to use the mana to lock people down while you're using the Aether Vial to get dudes in play, so... Yeah, exactly. Death and Taxes and Merfolk, which I love the Merfolk deck. Oh, gosh.
Merfolk is so sweet in every form.
I love the Merfolk deck. I mean, like, just all the lords. Yeah, there's Kranko.
Interesting. So that's going to be really
Well, because
a powerhouse, because
yeah.
it's going to make that Pile Driver
that's
huge.
that's real bad news for Ryan, which I'm actually surprised, because I actually kind of I would have given Mud the edge, but Corbin's done a really good job at not only like keeping his lands tapped, but his lands come into play tapped, so that's even harder. So I mean, he's done a pretty good job keeping them locked down. So, So is he gonna uptick Vial to 4 there? Can't remember what
Probably
Kranko
going
is.
to keep... He's a 3 mana.
He's a 3 mana. Okay, so
Going for a Goblin Matron.
he just no. He just Aether Vialed in another Goblin Matron during his upkeep, I believe.
Oh, so he can just toss it into his hand. Okay.
So he's gonna go probably. I think he's probably gonna find a hasty creature. Yeah, there's the Ringleader. The Ringleader is
Going to be a very good card.
yeah. See, Kranko's kind of slow.
I'm
I
not
mean,
a
it's-
huge fan of Kranko.
Yeah, that's a tough one because it is a little bit slow. I mean, he does get a single tap puts his, it doubles his Goblin output, which basically means the Pile Driver can literally swing for 1 shot. So
True, but it just feels so slow with the...
it is. It's really slow. I mean, you're looking. So okay, so what he did was he used Vial, and then put in the Matron, and then upticked it to 4, I believe, and then he's going to be able to next turn. He's going to be able to Actually, he may have them next turn. I think if he plays this right. I think if he untaps his stuff, and then he waits one turn, and then it vials in... Vials in the... there's the metal worker again. God, it's been like forever since we've seen him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Ryan's already down to 13. So it's looking... I mean, actually, metal worker, it could almost have to be a chump blocker at this point.
They're almost entirely necessary.
Yeah, because, I mean, he's going to be swinging for, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then plus the matrons. And if he slams down a goblin ringleader, too, I mean, yeah, he's looking
very,
at...
very short clock is being presented.
Goblins is I'm really excited that he built that deck, because there are very few people that actually play Goblins, and in some of the right matchups, it can just roll people over.
Yeah, the deck is just... I mean, it's a red deck in Legacy, which I'm always a big fan of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Switch. Cloud
Oh, they're talking about
Elves.
modern stuff.
Oh, yeah. Oh, modern stuff?
Yeah. But this is not the finals. This is just the most interesting
Yeah, yeah. The finals was going to be Blue-Red Delver versus Grixis Delver, and let's be honest.
Let's get them maybe after this match is done.
Yeah. I was just like, another Delver mirror is definitely not something that I don't know. Maybe you guys did want to see it, but I assumed that these are two pretty interesting decks that people would want to see.
Now, what is that?
It's the same thing, I believe, that makes them, is that the one that makes him destroys an artifact, I believe?
Oh, okay. So that is... If you guys happen to know the exact name of that, then that would be excellent.
Or it might be... I can't remember what it is. It's either that or it's the one that deals damage equal to the number of goblins in play. I can't remember which one it is. There's some of that stuff.
There's the Gem Palm Incinerator, but that's not...
yeah.
That's a cycle card. Tuk Tuk Scrapper. Let's take a look at that.
Yeah.
Excellent.
You may destroy target artifact, and if it's put into the graveyard, he deals damage
equal to the number of allies.
Number of allies. Okay, so it's an ally thing, yeah. But I mean, at this moment, not only did it pump up the pile driver, but destroyed the metal worker, and at this point now, Ryan is in
huge back foot.
Yeah, so he's floating 2, playing the Vesuva, copying the City of Traders, floating 2 more.
And getting it back out does have 4 damage on the field with that chump blocking.
Yeah.
So Corbin pretty much just needs to either get rid of that metal worker with a Gem Palm Incinerator, a Sting Scourger, another Tuk Tuk Scrapper.
I think this is alright. He's got the hasty guy in play, or in his hand.
Plus the hasty guy, so that actually brings it up to 6 damage with blocks.
This is pretty much game over. So let's see if Ditto kind of... No, he plays the cheat. Yeah, okay. So it looks like... pick any number of cards, and it looks like he already had it, so Ditto getting game 1 with Goblins. I mean, that could not have gone better for him.
Absolutely. Bedlamp bringing up a good point, though. Just something that if we happen to see Corbin afterwards and to tell him, probably could have told him tapping down City of Traders might have been better than Ancient Tomb, because it forces him to take 2 damage.
Oh, true, yeah. Yeah, Corbin's another guy. He's another person that's pretty new to Legacy, but he's been kind of... He's been working his way into it for a little bit. This is kind of one of the reasons why we started allowing the proxies, is because he wants to play, but when you're a high schooler trying to afford Rishodon ports, I mean, what are those things up to, like $60, $80 or something like that? It's a very not cheap card. And Wastelands, I mean, it's the basic land package from Death and Taxes, where it's like the core cards themselves are not expensive, but then the land package is absurd.
And I mean, while it's insignificant compared to that, you're still looking at $60 just for the Goblin Lackeys, the playset of those.
Yeah.
So certainly a price tag on the deck.
Yeah, and he's got a good, he's got a pretty good part of it already. I've definitely tried to get as many things as I can for him, and looks like he's putting in some burn. I couldn't really tell. Ryan clearly knows what he's doing. I thought he's slamming down cards quickly.
Because Ryan's been playing Mud for,
yeah,
I don't know how long at this point, but certainly a decent amount of time.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, guys' cradles are just, those are, since that whole legendary thing came into play, they went up a ton in price. And Volcanics, yeah, I mean, that's kind of maybe one of the reasons why some people play those decks.
And a Candelabra.
Candelabras are so expensive, yeah.
But that's one of the nice things about us doing these proxy tournaments, is that we get people who are able to try out those decks.
Yeah.
Instead of it being just such a huge barrier of entry to even just try out new ideas.
Right. I mean, Legacy's tough enough to get into, so, but they've done a pretty good job. everyone here is a pretty good sport about allowing people to play proxies. I mean, most Legacy players just want to play. They like playing, and so if they're playing against someone who knows what they're doing and they're actually actively trying to build the deck,
Yeah.
then yeah, so.
Makes a big difference.
Well, we're still sideboarding here. What do we got? Come on, guys, ask us some questions. Let's talk Legacy.
Ripshot's asking. They don't play a whole lot of Legacy. They don't keep up too much, but they do have Mud. Is that considered a top tier deck?
What do we start? 7:30. Mr. Lord of the Pit, we started at 7:30. We were doing it on Thursdays, but I realized that there was see, I wanted to comment. I think he put in Chalice, Trinispheres, we started at 7:30. It just kind of worked better with the time frame. We do draft at 6:30, so the draft kind of, some days draft is really busy, some days is a little bit quieter. Tonight was a quieter night, so Legacy actually had the more dominant, player base at tonight. So,
how do you feel about Mud in the current meta?
Mud's really good. I think Mud is actually when you're playing in a format where 1 and 2 drops are, dominant, just
huge,
super dominant, and your main board is potential Chalice on turn 1 for 1, and then follow it up with a Transfer. That is what they want to see almost every time. I know as someone who plays the deck, Chalice on 1 is really detrimental, and then Trinisphere right after that. Ugh.
We do not have any limit on the proxies.
No, yeah. I was going to limit it at first, but then I just realized whatever. Basically what we've allowed people to do is build the deck you want to build, but if
you get credit,
use it for card. You try to build the deck.
Exactly.
Don't come in, we don't want to see people playing the same proxy deck for 3 months and somehow they're still proxying Delvers or Lightning Bolts or something that's very obviously easy to get.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, it's true. Mud does have some consistency issues. It's very resilient and it can be really explosive. But if they like you saw there, he was able. A single Richardon port was able to slow him down enough because he has so many lands that come into play tapped.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we're shuffling up here. Assuming Ryan wanted to be on the play. Yeah, that's true. Mud it got a lot better after Dig Through Time got banned because, it's interesting, with all the artifact hate out there, that it actually main boards a ton of artifacts and it's still able to do a lot of work.
Because they can't cast the hate.
Yeah, it's true.
That is one thing, just mentioning with the Chalice of the Void, I think it's pretty similar to why Counterbalance is so good in Legacy, but so underwhelming in, say, Modern No Ban list.
Right.
Is because there's such a huge concentration of spells at this very set converted mana cost.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so Ryan being on the play here, if he hits a Chalice on 1, that's going to be I couldn't tell exactly what he cited in, but he wants to see a Chalice on 1 here because that not only does that stop any sort of Aether Vial mess, but is a number of things that he can't cast that you definitely want to cast. So,
Chalice and Trinisphere I think were the big cards that came in.
Yeah, Chalice and Trinisphere.
A little bit surprised that those aren't in the main board, to be honest.
Well, no, I think they were already in there. I can't
maybe
remember.
Just displaying them.
Yeah, he was just kind of sorting it out. So I didn't see what he had there. City Traders, Cloud Post. Yeah, he sent that one back.
Pithing Needle too.
Yeah, that looked like a pretty slow hand. I think I saw I don't think he was getting anything out there for a couple turns. So he definitely sent that one back pretty quickly because he realizes if he just goes land pass and Goblins goes land Aether Vial, then looks like Corbin sent his back too. Yeah, I thought he did too. I couldn't really tell. I just saw a line of his Chalices and Trinispheres. So, and it looks like Ryan split a sleeve. Ryan's too tough, too strong.
Ripping his sleeves right off.
Sleeves, yeah.
Absolutely, very Popeye of him.
I know, yeah. He's not a small dude. He's tall. We had what was it, the Ryan incident? Oh, Ryan. With the arm wrestling. Look at that. Look at the guns. He's just showing them off now. You see that? Yeah, Reclamation Sage. Yeah, that is a very underwhelmed or underappreciated card. That is for sure. But I think it started seeing a lot more. Oh, now he's just ripping. Now he's just showing off. Right, he's showing off. Showing off, ripping those sleeves up.
We don't worry. We schooled him.
Yeah, don't worry. He had a sly look to him.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Good word choice.
Yeah. So.
Game 2.
I'm not sure what Corbin has in his sideboard too much. I mean, obviously, Red has a lot of ways to deal with artifacts. So it's interesting to see how much of his sideboard is dedicated to artifacts. But
mainboard Tuk Scrapper, pretty interesting.
Pretty good.
Could be seeing some more of those coming in.
Well, it's just, I mean, there's so many. Yeah. There's so much artifacts in Legacy that are good targets to hit it. I mean, not to mention, people that... Yeah, exactly. All that stuff, and I mean, especially if someone actually plays mainboard Pithing Needles for whatever reason. I mean, he actually already has an answer to that, so it's not bad. So we start off in
Aether Vials. Opposing Aether Vials is an excellent
Ancient Tomb there. I think actually looks like Ryan's got a pretty much quicker start. I see he's got a Wasteland there. I think I saw a Vesuva, so he can actually hit a Loathsome Golem on turn 2. It's gonna hurt, but he can do it.
Totally worth it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clearly, this guy has
This is an Elves player.
As an Elves player, yeah.
Very much an Elves player.
Yes, yeah. That. By the way, Craterhoof, second favorite card to cast. There is nothing that feels better than slamming down a Craterhoof and your opponent's starting to count how much damage they're about ready to take.
But it's only a 5/5.
Yeah, it's only a 5/5. That's true. Everything else gets bigger.
And a Goblin Lackey out of Corbin.
Yep.
So, excellent turn 1 play.
Copies. Yeah, it looks like he's up. So he Vesuvas. Yeah, that's a really good one for Corbin. He's straight out the gate. See, I think so. He copied the Ancient Tomb.
Vesuva still has a Wasteland.
Swings for 1. Man, that 1 damage never felt so good for Corbin though, because now he can just slam right onto the battlefield some more dudes. And I don't think. Actually, you know what a card that Ryan has is in his deck? I wonder if he cited it. He's got that new card, the Warping Whale.
I think I actually did see that getting sideboarded in.
Yeah, but now, now he's got the Ringleader. Yeah, this is a... Oh, did he whiff? He whiffed. Look at that.
Oh my... That's almost impressive in and of itself.
That's a real tough thing, because he was going to be able to... If he would have hit something pretty decent there, not even like great, but just decent, like, oh, there's a Wasteland, that's pretty good, and there's the Aether Vial. Wow, that's a good start. And it's a pretty good start, because now he's got the Wasteland, he's got the Aether Vial to get around things.
So do Wasteland, probably go for it now as opposed to waiting till later.
No reason not to. I mean I guess he could force him to take some damage, if he thinks he can race him, but you pretty much want to keep Mud from being able to play their giant dude, so.
Okay, and another Ancient Tomb off of the top.
Well, hey, better lucky than good.
No kidding.
Better lucky than good.
Down to 17 and dropping a Lodestone Golem, which, while a good card, not as influential as you'd like it to be now that Aether Vial is in there. That is not what we're looking for.
Hey, yeah, Lodestone Golem is going to be... Yeah, I mean, he's already got the Aether Vial online now, so he's going to be able to start doing stuff. But now he's got to just... I mean, this is the problem with Mud against Goblins, is now he's just got a huge dude.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to swing at the Lackey. And there's a port. That's going to be pretty helpful. The Ringleader's pretty much served his purpose, but you don't want to just swing into it. So now you just kind of sit there and pass or something. I'm not sure.
Is that Vesuva copying the Ancient Tomb? And if so, should he have taken 2 damage there? He might be actually at 15.
Hey, Ryan. Was that Vesuva copying Ancient Tomb? You tapped it twice. So you should be at 13.
I've tapped it twice. This one is Rashad Porter.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It got ported. That's
yep.
what.
Okay, so we got that.
He's only tapped it twice. So he tapped it. The only time he's tapped it is for the Lodestone Golem.
Yep.
So and then he tapped it now for Metalworker.
So I was okay, cool. I kept just seeing it getting tapped, so that makes sense to me. And we've got a Metalworker in addition to that Lodestone Golem, so a lot of mana.
Oh yeah, and see that's what I thought. I thought the math was weird.
Yeah,
Ryan, you tapped it for Metalworker and Lodestone. So that should be 3 times.
We got it.
Tapped it twice for lodestone, and then now for metalworker. So you should be at that's.
We're
6
gutting
damage,
them.
plus 1 from lackey, so you should be at 13. Okay. Sorry.
Nailed him. Okay, so back online there.
Yeah, no, that was just yeah. We got it figured out.
Sorry about that.
So yeah, no, Corbin's. See, this is the problem. So now he's got the blocker, he's got the metal worker.
I think he might have a Gem Palm Incinerator in hand, or so he's looking at one card and it looks.
Yeah, I saw that one coming. Duke asking the loaded questions there. When you're watching Legacy, you're gonna get those answers. I mean, Legacy is a lot of fun. I mean, Modern they have their differences. You know, there's a lot of people that prefer the Modern. There's a lot of people and better is such a relative term. I love playing more Legacy than Modern. Ooh,
Grafter's Kid shuts down the Kuldotha Forge Master.
That's interesting. That is really, really interesting.
Was not expecting that.
I mean,
but it makes sense.
It
doesn't even cost the extra from the Lodestone Golem.
I can't
and
tell.
And a Gem Palm Incinerator.
I can't tell. Did he tap the extra one?
No. It looks like he just paid the 2 mana to cycle the Gem Palm Incinerator for 2.
Okay.
And take down the Metalworker.
Yep. What's the? You pull up that Gem Palm. Is that just the cycle and destroys target artifact?
No. It deals damage equal to the number of goblins that you control.
Oh, okay. So he was able to take out the. Okay, X damage, X number of goblins on the battlefield, so that's pretty good.
As for his Legacy better than Modern now, I like both formats. They provide different things.
Gains a life off of Cloud Post. Yeah, see, this is...
And the Worm Coil coming down.
Gladly take damage for that one. I mean, it cost him 4 life, but a 6/6 lifelink is...
And Death Touch, which is so irrelevant right now. But...
Yeah, but this is where Ditto doesn't want to be. This is where he does not want to be. Yes, Extended was pretty bad. I was also never a big fan of what was it? The constructed within the block.
Oh, block constructed.
Block constructed. Oh, that's no fun.
Yeah. So we do just have a ringleader and a lackey. Corbin unable to get a whole lot of other goblins on the field.
Yeah, he started out so good. That turn 1 lackey, turn 2 Aether Vial, and then when he whiffed on that ringleader, that was tough.
Yeah, I mean,
whiffing on a ringleader is
both good and bad.
Yeah. In
which, you're a little bit happy
that I mean, it did get 4 dead cards essentially out of the draw.
Exactly.
But I mean, you want to hit at least 1 goblin.
All right.
So he's got he's got the War Chief.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, it costs an additional 1, he said. Yeah, so he's got they cost. So goblins now cost 1 less. Lodestone cost them 1 more. So essentially, it's the same exact cost.
We're now breaking even on goblins.
On the goblins, and then he just has cast the
Mog War Marshal.
War Marshal. So I mean, the good news is like he can block the Worm Coil, but can he race it is the thing, because hasty little goblins up against a 5/3 and a 6/6 lifelink.
It's a bad place to be.
Yeah, that's tough, because now he can. All of his lands are in good shape, and I think he's got a spell, or was that a Steel Hellkite in his hand too. So
and a Vesuva, which not going to do a whole lot, but
he's
can get him another wasteland if he wants.
It's true, and he could sit there and waste them and lock him out. Play that game. So it looks like he just blocked. Yeah, it looks like he just chump blocked the Worm Coil.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole Eldrazi thing. I mean, like we're like 1 week removed from that happening. I think there'll be a lot of stuff that changes with that. But Jund is definitely one of the most expensive Modern decks. I mean, what do you got? A playset of Goyfs and a playset of Lilies is $1,000 right there, and then fetches, and the lands, and the shocks, and the bobs.
All kinds of fun.
Oh yeah. So he's untapping. He's got a load, or that Steel Hellkite. That thing is that's gonna wipe his board, and that's probably just gonna be game, because he can dump a ton of mana into Steel Hellkite, and essentially just wipe his field. Because Corbin's gotta play fast, and he's gotta lock him down. And he did the first part, but I mean, when you got 3 Ancient Tombs, that's tough.
Yeah, puts him back down to 12 after going up to 16, but I mean, with what he's got going on right now, that is such a small issue in the grand scheme of things.
There's Cranko. See, now that's interesting.
I mean, theoretically, he can keep chump blocking.
Yeah.
The Steel Hellkite ends that gameplay.
Oh my gosh. Oh, well, actually, Cranko's got haste now, too. And all goblins have haste.
And so can he make enough to overwhelm? I don't think so. We've got
Well,
1,
he
2,
can
3, 4,
tap
5, 6,
Cranko.
7.
I actually think he can.
That only gets you to 14 of them.
And he can only block 2 of them. That's 12 damage.
Oh, because he doesn't have the lifelink anymore.
They're all haste.
Is that a win off of this?
Oh my gosh. Did he actually just pull this out?
Except Cranko may... Hold on.
No,
Because Cranko taps himself, so he may actually be
fine.
1 shy.
No, because he's got 2 goblin tokens and then 1, 2, and 5 creatures.
He's getting 13 of them.
Yeah.
He has 13 goblins to attack with.
I think he just pulled that straight out.
I don't think so. I think he's 1 damage shy.
No, because because it's for each goblin in play. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 goes to 14, and they all have haste. Yeah, that's game. They all have haste.
Wow. 3, 4, 5, 6.
That was really impressive. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
So Cranko with haste doubles, goes to 14 dudes, and he literally there's
is
the warping
absurd.
whale. I cannot believe he pulled that one off. That was I mean I can, because I mean that's what goblins. I mean he just swung on the back end and just raced a worm coil as if it was no big deal. That was an impressive win. Goblins is I'm surprised that more people don't play that. Obviously some of those goblins are poison tokens. I don't know why you just didn't grab a dice, but you know what? Ooh, that was a good win. We're back into modern now, are we? Crazy modern.
Yeah, you know. Do you think we can get possibly that finals match?
Probably.
Cool.
I'll go find out.
Excellent. Let's go get another one.
I'll be right back.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, so stick with us for just a little bit longer. We are in our final round of 4 rounds here with Legacy, but we are looking to get another match up there so you guys can watch. Okay. I'm saddened to hear about Rogue and Ripshot's experiences. At least from what I've seen, I haven't actually hit. I've played tests against plenty of Eldrazi in preparation for it, but I have not seen, at least especially our local area, get overwhelmed by it. But nonetheless, I am still waiting to call it until... I mean, granted, this is a Legacy stream, so I don't want to focus too much on Modern, but something that I've said before is I don't want to call anything until we see Modern attempt to adapt to it. So, did the stream go down? If so, I apologize. Was unintentional. But hopefully we didn't. If not, we are back. So thank you for rejoining us. Anyway, we're trying to get another match up here for round 4. For anybody who may just be joining, we are streaming from Geek Fortress in Snohomish, Washington. We do this 3 times a week. Go ahead and hit that follow button and join us for more. It is always a blast. Our Legacy and Modern tournaments always tend to have a pretty diverse metagame. Our Modern usually don't have more than 2 copies of a single deck, so that is always nice. And Legacy, as you can see, we usually have a pretty good one, and the fact that we allow proxies, we do get some interesting decks over time. So that is always excellent. Sorry to everybody for our feed going down for a moment. Not sure what caused it, but we are back up and running. So anyway, if you guys want to discuss the Eldrazi deck, I can definitely stick around and talk about things after the Legacy tournament. I'd happily talk about Modern. Trying to focus on Legacy in the meantime. Otherwise, join me tomorrow. We will be doing a Modern stream, and I'll be definitely happy to talk about Modern at that time. One thing that I do want to plug at the moment is outside of our general schedule of 3 times a week, the 21st of this month, a Sunday, join us for a Modern tournament. The 21st, starting at noon Pacific time. Should be going, oh gosh, probably until what, 7 o'clock? 8?
All night.
Pretty much.
Grand Prix trial, probably five rounds plus a cut to top 8.
Yep, 5 rounds plus a top
Everyone's
8.
also in the middle of the game.
And I will be streaming it all day. Should be an absolute blast. Otherwise, we do have multiple matches still going, but they're currently in the middle of a game. As soon as one of them is done with the game, we should be able to get one up. So, should be a fun time, and certainly that'll be our chance to see just how dominant that Eldrazi deck is. Granted, I won't be in the field, but some current decks that are pretty solid against it. I like Obs on Company against it, Affinity. I think Blue-White Control has some decent tools to it. Jund, surprisingly, adapting pretty well, but that just teaches me for doubting Jund, because Jund will always adapt to whatever meta it's in. So, a lot of good things happening, and will that deck get a ban? Maybe. I'd like to see if in the next 3 months or so we can make it so that it doesn't need one. But that is my personal preference. Other than that, if you guys do have anything that you would like me to discuss, any questions or any feedback, now that we are waiting for another match, it is an excellent time for it, and we should be getting one pretty shortly. But go ahead and toss something in that I can work through it with. Just be 12 posts with miracles by continuing bouncing. That is awesome. So you used your Karakos to bounce your Venser and continually flashed it in to bounce their Cloud Post. That is a very cool play. I like that. Okay. Rabbit Ninja, new player tips. It depends on what format that you're going into, but things that I would say to new players is, one, from a basic deck building perspective, learn about the curve. And also, so the curve is very important. Learn about how the mana curve functions and how usually the player who uses the most of their mana each turn will win, at least in theory. Certainly there are exceptions, but when you're learning, you don't need exceptions. So that's a really big one. Also, if you can find an article called Who's the Beatdown, that is an excellent article about gameplay. Other than that, for new player tips, always ask questions. If you have any questions, ask them. The Magic community as a whole is very welcoming and helpful, and when you come across those things, instead of trying to find the answer yourself or coming across the wrong one, definitely find out those answers, because we are always happy to help. So, those are kind of the quick and easy ones. I'm not sure how much of a new player you are, but also if you do ever have any questions based on things, feel free to message me at the Twitter right above my head, or on Reddit with the exact same username, just without an @ at the beginning of it, and I'm always happy to help out in any way that I can. Should they bring back Twin but ban Deceiver Exarch? Probably not. I think that having Twin out of it allows them to start playing around with some unbans going forward, and I think we're going to see that happen. So, I'm excited to see maybe some Ancestral Visions or Preordain unbanned, and we'll just see what happens. But Twin is certainly not going to control the Eldrazi deck. It would actually likely have a pretty bad matchup against it. So, I think that Twin being out allows for some other things to happen. I'd like to see how that develops before jumping right back into that. Zera's asking, how good is Oops All Spells / Belcher these days? All I've recently seen is Storm. I think the biggest issue with Belcher and Oops All Spells is Force of Will. And that really seems to be the big piece of it. And as long as Force of Will exists to just take down some simple pieces of the combo, I think they are just a little bit too inconsistent compared to Storm. I think the biggest draws towards those decks is likely their deck building cost rather than their playability. But to be honest, I'm still very much learning this Legacy metagame and a lot of things about it, so I don't know all the answers, and I could be wrong. So certainly if anybody else has an opinion in the chat, feel free to chime in on that one. Should they bring back Bloodbraid Elf? I think one day they will. I do not think that now is that time. With Jund already being one of the top 3 played decks as it currently stands, maybe top 5 with some recent changes in the meta, I'm not sure if giving them Bloodbraid Elf at the moment is the right call, but certainly that card is extremely powerful, and as things can progress forward, I can see that card being unbanned one day. But I don't think that now is the appropriate time. That deck seems perfectly capable of innovating itself to the current meta, as things currently stand. But again, very much personal preference. My biggest thing is to possibly just see that Preordain unbanned. I could see maybe Sword of the Meek. My biggest issue with that one would be that it might slot into Lantern Control, which I think is a sweet deck, but if that becomes even better, could be problematic. To those of you looking for Legacy, we should be able to get another match up for you in just a moment, so stick around. We should be having some. I will get updated as soon as all of our matches are done, if that is the case. So hopefully we can get something up and running shortly. I am keeping an eye out. Okay.
We are donezo for the evening.
Are we?
Oh yeah. The last match was just finishing up. So.
Okay, who won?
Well, they're still finishing up, but it's Donovan, and Donovan's 3-0 versus Ian, who's also 3-0.
And they're on game 3?
They're in the middle of game 2. So if they go to game 3, we'll switch it.
Excellent. Okay, so we should be having game 3 from the finals. If they go to a game 3, we will have them move over to the featured table. Currently, they are on game 2, and if it ends there, that is actually the final match of our evening. So, just in case it doesn't happen, thank you to everybody who did join tonight. Hopefully we can have one final game on there if they go to game 3. But otherwise, I really appreciate all of you coming out, hanging out. I'll be around for a little bit, just talking, having some fun. So if you guys do have any comments, any questions, and any feedback, now is an excellent time to do that. And also, if you want to hit that follow button, that would be fantastic. It does mean a lot to me. I do try and keep track of when that does get hit, because it's huge from the perspective of that's what allows me to actually have some sort of quantifiable data to bring to the store owner who was just in here, Dylan, with me. And that's something that I can show him to continue, trying to get resources from him to make improvements to this stream. And a lot of this stuff is because of the support of the community. And so thank you to all of you who continually show up. Thank you to those of you who are new and sticking around. And I really look forward to doing this more. Rogue, thank you very much, actually. One thing that is huge, and I cannot take credit for all of this, but there has been a really big amount of help to me as far as making this stream successful. And one of those is Dylan, who provided a lot of resources for me to get it going. The store itself, who...
We're going to a game 3.
Excellent. So we will be having
going to a game 3. This is for all the marbles.
Is it? You said it's Grixis Delver versus Rug Delver?
Yeah.
And it's
versus Blue Red Delver.
Ian,
regular Ian.
Hathaway?
Yeah.
And who's going to be on
Donovan.
the right?
I'll put Donovan on the wall.
Okay. So, we are going to have another one going with Donovan on that Blue-Red Delver going up against a Grixis Delver in the hands of Ian Hathaway. But just to give a quick little credit as they are moving forward, David Bradbury, fantastic person who has helped out a ton with this stream by providing a lot of resources. He actually created the layout that is around this. Other things is the store has been really receptive to it, being willing to actually even be on the stream, so it's been an absolutely fantastic thing. And the more I can improve it, the more I will. And if you guys ever have suggestions for that, please do let me know. Will Shadows of Innistrad be as good as Innistrad? Maybe. Certainly a lot of sets have been improving, and I am at least hopeful. I don't want to write it off just yet, and from the small amount that we've seen, it certainly has a lot of potential. I'm really excited to see, hopefully, Madness return, because that is such a cool mechanic. In the meantime, we're going to head on down to Game 3 between Donovan and Ian. Ian on the left, Donovan on the right, and let's go play some Magic. Okay. And apparently a Delver playmat.
I apologize. Ian's on the wall.
Okay. Could you ask him to not have the Delver playmat?
I don't know. He didn't really want to move already, so I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Then let's just not disrupt him.
Yeah. He didn't really want to move already. He was kind of like, oh, he's being lazy tonight, so.
Okay. As for Madness confirmed, technically there was a leak, but I don't really want to get banned by WotC, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I don't know of any new cards.
Exactly.
I don't know
I've
what you're
never
talking
heard
about.
I haven't heard
The
of a single
internet didn't tell me anything.
thing. But Madness would be super cool.
Yes, let's speculate. Theoretically, Madness would be cool.
Absolutely. And I'm also really excited to potentially see Standard make a huge improvement. I think one of the biggest issues in the current Standard is having dual fetchables and fetches in the same format,
Yeah.
which, as much as you would think that increases the diversity, in a format as small as Standard can actually reduce the diversity a lot because the best cards become very quickly identified.
Well, one of the better parts of Standard was when they had not the fetches, but the shocks and the checks.
That was much better.
Which worked out very well. I mean, like, people were still be able to play greedy mana bases, but you didn't have, like, the fetching, I mean, it's weird, because people saying that Standard is boring is fine, but I was talking to someone, Standard is not expensive. Like, you can get many cards in a $4 booster pack. You're not getting anything else in a $4 booster pack for any other formats, and the fetches are sort of pricey, but you're not buying fetches just because they're in Standard. You're buying fetches because they're fetches, and you play them in all formats. So, like, you're so that's kind of how I feel about that whole thing. So you're gonna have to switch their names. I'm sorry, they wouldn't switch.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. As a quick
click
point,
of a button. Oh no, I see.
As a quick point, how Madness works is that when you discard a card with Madness, you instead put it into exile. And then you have the option of then allowing it to go to the graveyard, or you can pay its Madness cost to cast it instead of discarding it.
Yeah, so it's actually going to be. What's really interesting is with Lily, the new Lily, the Flip Lily, because she makes you discard, and I mean if you're able to run some sort of synergistic deck with Lily and Madness, it'd be
Also,
pretty
for 3
pretty
months, Jace Vryn's Prodigy probably
Yeah.
going to take another price hike.
Yeah, I mean he's good. I mean you do have to playing him in Standard, but I mean like investing in Jace is not like the end of the world because I mean he's playing Modern, he's playing Legacy, and he's even seeing playing Vintage. So it's not really like you're not buying Jace Architect of Thought, because I bought a Jace Architect of Thought for $50 when I was actually a player and not a store, because I wanted to finish off my Return to Ravnica set, and that was the last card, and now he's worth $4. This Jace is going to hold its value incredibly well.
Yeah, maybe not at the same price point, but it's certainly
Right.
going to maintain
And
value.
and the fact that he's printed in a core set, and the core set, I mean like core set Mythic, which in a couple years from now will probably be not opened hardly at all. That's why a lot of those core sets, like the Voice of Resurgence is another good example.
Because no one wants to open Dragon's Maze.
No one's opening up Dragon's Maze.
Okay, so we have a turn 1 Flooded Strand into a Volcanic Island into a Ponder from Ian.
Yeah.
With his opening hand, going for the shuffle.
And the shuffle, yeah.
One of the things that I want to talk to about David is getting a counter just for our Legacy stream of how often, like out of X, how often do they just shuffle off of their Ponder?
Punt it away, Doro. I'm gonna call you Doro. Punt it away, Doro. That Ponder shuffle.
Okay.
Ponder punt. There you go. Turn 1 Delver. Hey, in a Delver deck,
Solid start.
I mean, is there a better one? I mean, I can't think. Oh, he probed him.
Oh, so we get Taxian Probe. We're going to especially get to see we have a Polluted Delta, Jace the Mind Sculptor,
Spell Pierce,
Volcanic Island, Dismember, and a Force of Will.
So he's got the Force and Spell Pierce backup.
Not a whole lot going on here. The biggest thing to play around at this point being Force of Will and Spell Pierce, but Jace most likely just going to be a discard target.
Yeah.
And that Dismember, while a removal spell...
He, yeah. Oh, go ahead, sorry. While a removal spell is...
Ian most likely very set up to deal with that.
Yeah. Oh, boo. Alright, that's fair. Donovan is shuffling his hand, which is, I guess in Now Ian has no idea where his cards are.
Invec TIV. Main thing, we allow proxies for the idea of allowing people to try out different things and also get new players who are younger into the format.
Yeah.
So that we can have a bigger variety of decks. Our one stipulation being that they have to be pretty decent proxies.
There's a lot of guys. Actually, there's only like three guys that were playing proxies. There's a couple. Ian has all of his cards, and most of the guys have all of their cards, but Donovan is like 15, and he wants to play Legacy. And I'm fine with someone wanting to play Legacy. And if he wants to play Forces, that's fine. He'll get him eventually. So what do we got here? Spell Pierce, Force. Oh, he bolted Delver. So he bolted Delver. He forced it. He Spell Pierced it.
Quite the stack.
I think Delver is about, and Ian's bolted him again.
Okay.
Ian's got a plethora. His hand looked pretty solid. I think Ian's definitely got the one up right here because I think he's still got a Pyroblast in his hand, and he had something else. Was it Pyro? He's got a Delver. He's got a young Pyromancer. Yeah, he's got some gas.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's got the Fire Covenant. Bring that up.
So the Fire Covenant.
Fire Covenant. Ian's playing some pretty spicy stuff. So this is a card that Ian is playing.
No way! This card's sweet.
In his deck in Grixis Delver.
So 3 mana, discard any number of card. Or no, you pay life.
Deal X damage. Yeah. So I mean, it's just another
creatures. Wow.
I think he was mostly using it to get around countertop.
That is
because it's
very cool.
It's a 3 mana, essentially deal X damage to anything. I mean, so he can actually take out a Delver that's flipped, that's not flipped. He just pays the life.
Okay, so a Grim Lavamancer now on the battlefield. Looks like we now we get to know exactly what's in Donovan's hand because he's been just drawing and playing with
He
it.
drew some gas, yeah. I mean, I think he top decked Young Pyromancer and then a Grim Lavamancer.
And I think that this Fire Covenant is about to just wreck house.
X damage divided as you choose among any number of targets where X is amount of life you pay. So he's about ready to pay 3 life to get rid of 3 things. So he's
has to watch out for a
here it comes
because we believe he had the Spell Pierce in hand, didn't he?
No, he forced it away
instead of the Jace. That's curious.
Yeah. I mean, he thought that he was gonna hit that 4th land, but he's fetching here.
And we know what Donovan drew, so I'm not quite sure.
You know what's interesting about Fire Covenant is it's similar to like Electrolyze. It's 3 mana, but it only deals 2 damage max, and it draws you a card. Where Fire Covenant can take out a single target, it takes out 3 targets for this example. It's interesting, and I'm not sure what he's talking about. Miracles can't counterbalance a 7. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much true.
And in days,
they can hit 6, they can hit 5, and what is their 4 drop?
Yep.
Oh, 4 drops Jace. 3 drops Councils or Monastery Swift or Mentor if they're playing that. So
slowly crashing is correct, by the way. Letting him draw into that Daze was a really dangerous play by Ian when he could have done that during the main phase or even during his upkeep.
Yeah, that's fair.
So a pretty unfortunate play there for Ian, and I think it was just that I don't know, maybe overthought it and thought he would wait just a little bit to try and get some extra value out of it.
Sometimes
Ian
does
the price.
He tends to play a little quick. I think I think he saw what happened. Donovan just drew some serious gas, and I think even once he saw his hand, he didn't expect him to hit like 3 straight draws of just absolute good stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, Venser too. Venser is a really good one.
So we have a swing for 3. Ian going down to 4.
Yep, and I did give him a time extension, so if you see the timer there, it's in the negative. They technically just hit turns, but I told them since they moved, they could have a couple extra minutes, so they have a 5-minute time extension.
And another Daze.
Wow.
I mean, just casting it, he's paying the 1. Not a whole lot of reason not to, I guess.
Yeah, and that does it. That does it. Donovan with just absolute gas, and he kept the Jace. That's man. That's crazy, but it looks like Donovan got it. Donovan got it in 3.
Yeah, because dazing that spell basically just gave him the elemental token to overwhelm.
Yep. Cool.
So,
I'm going to go give out some prizes. You can talk Modern, talk Legacy, talk Magic.
Excellent. Are you going to be open for a while?
Cool.
cool. Okay, so that is the Legacy tournament. I will still be here a little bit, so if any of you do want to hang around and just talk about things, ask questions, stick around. I'm going to bring it back up to us. Okay, so thank you for joining me. For those of you, that was the last Legacy match that we do have for you. So for those of you who are taking off, have a fantastic night, and I hopefully will see you in some future streams. Be sure to hit that follow button before you go. For anybody who would like to stay and hang around, basically bring up anything that you'd like to discuss or ask some questions, whatever you'd like, I'm always happy to stick around and just have some conversation. So if you want to toss that into the chat, especially if it's directed at me, just put @GeekFortress in that chat. In the meantime, I will say again, thank you to all of you that make this possible. It's very much the thing that I look forward to throughout the week on pretty much a daily basis. And I can't wait to interact with you guys next time, and it is always just such a huge blast, and it's all because of you guys. So, Rogue and HC Fox, have a fantastic night. Thank you very much for joining. In the meantime, yeah, always have some ideas for ways to improve the stream, and it should be an absolute blast to see where it can go. And also, eventually I might start trying to do some streaming from home down the line. Right now I'm trying to focus on this and make one consistent product out of this, but certainly I've put some thought into also doing some streaming either of Magic Online or anything like that. But that's at least what I'm looking at doing. Also, good as we are working on getting the website back underway, we'll be looking to do some writing for that as well. So all kinds of things coming down the pipeline. I am always excited, and also I will be participating a lot more in online stuff as well. It is always a big fan of that. Otherwise, if you guys do have any questions, any comments, feedback, now is kind of that really excellent time to toss them in there. Things that I can improve, things that went well, things that didn't go well, and also just anything that you want me to discuss with you guys. I am always open to it, and it's always a good time. Other than that, yeah. Join us tomorrow for some Modern. It's going to be at 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. What does the taping setup look like? Are you asking about the kind of what the stream is set up? We do have one table out there in which we set up a bracket with a camera looking down on it, and we have a 1080p camera looking down on that with the cables coming back here to the basically the storage closet. And then here I have got desktop. Got a mic here that we use to talk into, as well as a webcam that we attach to it using a dual monitor, and we are using the OBS system. The layover was put together by David Bradbury, and then I've got one of the monitors primarily for the stream and also for the card searching. The other monitor I use to update life totals, interact with the chat, and also keep a tab on the stream itself to see current viewership, things like that. But that's about as in-depth as... yeah, I mean, I guess I can try and put some pictures or something.
Sorry, we got an exhibition match going on between Donovan and Dylan.
The people who were just playing?
They just started.
But weren't they just playing?
No, that was Ian.
Oh, so Dylan is jumping on.
Rug Delver versus Blue Red Delver again.
Okay.
Dylan on the wall.
Excellent. Also, we do currently have...
Dylan's gunning for redemption, he said.
Okay. Also, if you guys are interested in seeing some more Legacy, just let me know, and if some people mention it, then I can go down to that, and we can watch some Legacy going on. It is the Blue-Red Delver going up against the Rug Delver. Lord of the Pit, I look forward to seeing you next week. And thank you for the compliment, and as always, Dylan gets credit for definitely hosting the stream. would be unable to do it without him letting me basically set up shop in the back of his store. So, let's head on down to, I'm just setting it up, and we will be getting down to that player. I may not put as much effort into updating all the life totals as a heads up, but we will show it. So let's head on down. Okay, so we are joining them sort of in the middle of one, and I'm just going to toss up something that says that this is an exhibition match. Though it's not going to be fantastic, to be honest. Alright. Sorry, give me one moment. Just working out some things here. And let's get that down here so that it is nice and bold. Okay, so this is an exhibition match, but as always, if you guys would have any questions, comments, things like that, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to address things since this is not part of our tournament. This is them just continuing to play for your guys' benefit. Guys and gals' benefit. But, in the meantime, as always, don't forget to hit that follow button. I'm a huge fan of when people do that, and it is always a blast. Also, always looking to improve this Legacy stream. It's certainly one of the ones that so far doesn't have the biggest viewership. Part of that might be just that there's less of a Legacy crowd. As much as you guys hate to hear it, I certainly hope that it's not the case. But otherwise, if you guys ever have any suggestions on ways that I can grow this stream, just outside of making some base improvements, but other ways that I can reach out to people and inform of this stream, please let me know, because it is always something that I'm looking to do. If this can become a thing, always a blast. Lord of the Pit. What would be a worse ban, Survival of the Fittest or Mystical Tutor? I'm probably gonna say Mystical Tutor. As this is entirely personal preference. I haven't played with either of them enough to know that for certain, but I think that tutors in general are probably, I guess actually both do pretty similar broken things, but I think that Mystical Tutor enables more things, while Survival of the Fittest, oh no, because that's also Tutor, isn't it? That's the old one that is like Birthing Pod. I was thinking that was a different one. Goodness, which one would be more broken? Probably Survival of the Fittest, just because it's repeatable. And that is really good. So, I'm gonna say I'm switching to Survival of the Fittest. I was thinking of a different card. And, I think I was thinking of Food Chain, actually. Anyway, Survival of the Fittest, being a repeatable tutor, probably lets it take the edge, in my mind. But Devclock, bringing up a fantastic point in that Survival does not pitch to Force of Will. So, a little bit of a relevant point there. Honestly, I don't know to what extent it is relevant. Still very much diving into this Legacy game. Okay. So a Tarmogoyf and a Nimble Mongoose on the board for Dylan. That Tarmogoyf a 4/5, looking down 2 Swiftspears and a Delver, and a Bolt headed for that Delver of Secrets, so it will not be turning into an Insectile Aberration this time. Okay, so the 2 Monastery Mentors able to apply a little bit of pressure, but Dylan very much at the advantage at this current point, just by having 7 damage on the field, with Donovan only having 2. Lord of the Pit. Solid point. Mystical Tutor can go into Miracle cards, provide a lot of interesting things that way, especially with Counterbalance. Again, I don't know the exact answer. I'm just kind of saying Survival because it is a repeatable tutor. But the fact that I'm told that let's see. Oh, okay. Xeris bringing up an interesting point. What if Eternal Masters came out and then 6 months later Force of Will got banned? I'm assuming that you're referring to the Splinter Twin banning at that point. And certainly an interesting fact. One thing to just, at least a little bit of credit to give to Wizards is that they were designing Modern Masters 2 probably 2 years ago. And so it's hard for them to really predict that. So I'm gonna say survival of the fittest, mostly because more blue. I mean, if blue is already dominated by blue, let's give them another card. Why not? If blue is already gonna be completely overwhelming in Legacy, let's make it official, even though it already is. Okay, otherwise, we have got 2 Tarmogoyfs, a Nimble Mongoose, a Young Pyromancer, and a Monastery Swiftspear on the battlefield, doing some battling, and looks like Dylan taking a win there in this completely arbitrary exhibition match of amazingness, as I just used far too many adjectives, which is always fun, because when you walk up to the playmat, you gotta show up with your A game. That's a life lesson. That's a lesson for a new player. If you're still in here, that's what you gotta do. Okay. As far as Eternal Masters, I'm still very excited to see, first of all, it confirmed, because as much as there have been a lot of hints towards Eternal Masters, to the point that I am personally almost convinced, not 100%, but basically there was some things in the Modern Online from the beta testers, and they, some of the beta testers released the fact that there was something for Eternal, let's see here, where they do, oh yeah, a lot of adjectives, but they released that there was something having to do with Eternal Masters, and so Doro, I appreciate you being willing to quote it. Certainly I have said some interesting things on here. Sometimes my mouth runs way ahead of my mind. And it looks like that exhibition match is done, so I'm going to go ahead and bring it back to me up here. And unless people have got some other questions for me, might be close to calling it a night. So if you do have any questions, now is the time. Doro, of course, bringing up the quote that when we do get to 500 viewers, 2 things will happen. If we ever get to 500 viewers at the same time, and to the you 30 who have resiliently stuck around listening to me, which, first of all, I honestly really appreciate. But for those of you who stick around, get us to 500 viewers at a single time, 2 things are going to happen. We happen to have a revised starter pack, which we will open on the stream and see what's in there. And also, we are, and I will be eating a Tybalt in some delicious Alfredo sauce. I will be making a Tybalt fettuccine Alfredo, which, as much as I will be regret to see a Tybalt go down, at least it'll be delicious. Another thing that I've said somewhat, but I think the revised starter pack is certainly the more exciting thing out of those 2 options. But we will see which one becomes more popular. Otherwise, I think that is going to be close to us calling it a night. So, thank you to everybody for joining. For those of you who stuck around, I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow at 6 o'clock for some Modern. Again, our meta is excellent, so you will not have to put up with nothing but the dreaded Eldrazi Menace, and I think I will be having Mr. David Bradbury, who did the last Saturday with me, as our co-host again, so it should be fantastic. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope to see you all there. In the meantime, keep casting those bolts, keep having fun, and it's going to be a great time. Have a good night, everybody. Okay.